take a bit, and then you can hop back into the window. And then so this isn't technically live. There'll be a little bar that will go across that will
tell you.
Then yeah, there it is.
Now we're live?
And then yep, the display comes up and we're live.
There we are.
Yep. Sorry everyone, just had to teach Cat some tricks about streaming.
Yeah, it's easier to teach a dog than a cat.
Yeah.
We're live?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, I've got it on my phone.
Autocats transform and roll out! Yeah, if you hadn't seen my community post, we're doing a Transformers-related ranking this time. And this time, Wolf is back. Oh, do we got a title to stream?
Oh, shoot, that's right. Now, everyone will know what we're talking about.
Yeah, we'll change it later.
Okay.
We can change it later.
Hello, is it me you're looking for? Good song.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Wolf, you remember Transformers Prime?
Yes.
The best cartoon, best hub show after the Haunting Hour, of course.
Yeah, in the first 3-4 seasons of MLP.
Yeah, do you want to do the title now or later?
Yeah, we can do it now.
Yeah, just to get people to watch.
So scroll back up on we go to the edit button.
Oh, I clicked it. Hang on, guess we gotta...
It's a bit slow.
Fix our title.
Okay.
I can do it.
Okay. Thankfully, there's no eyes in Transformers.
Transformers Prime character list, this time with Wolf.
Yep.
Transformers Prime characters.
And then also the description.
Oh, yeah. Forsaking Wolf and doing a tier list on characters from the hit series.
Glad you're fixing the titles. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that, folks. Started too early.
Yeah, it's the one thing I forgot to talk about with Kat for setting things up.
Alright, that's it?
Yeah, I don't know why you're still forsaking me, though, but yeah, it works.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just do that.
Okay.
That's funny. Okay, fix the title.
Yep.
Yeah, we're ranking the Transformers Prime characters. For those of you who somehow don't know, Transformers Prime is one of the greatest Transformers shows ever. One of the biggest shows on the hub, next to the Haunting Hour, of course.
Yep.
And basically, it's the usual, a cartoon about Optimus Prime and his Autobots versus Megatron and the Decepticons in the fate of the galaxy, an ultimate war to end their conflict, and they come across a new generation of humans who stumble on their adventures, and wacky misadventures happen along the way.
Yep, as well as a couple serious episodes from time to time. Although Transformers Prime was mostly serious, I'd say.
Oh, sorry, just gotta turn it down.
With only a couple times where it would do, like, jokier premises.
Yeah, sorry, had to fix the title.
Let's What
happened to the title?
Yeah. We'll begin in our stream. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, hopefully if you just refresh it, it'll come up.
Yeah.
That's how it works, right?
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, we are doing Transformers. Don't be fooled, just a technical difficulty.
Yep.
But yeah, we're doing Transformers Prime for all of you showing up. We have all the characters here, all the key players, the Autobots, Decepticons, their humans, and some side characters.
My god, they're really stretching the side characters. I could see the second to last one.
Yeah, they got Laserbeak in there too.
Yeah.
My favorite Minicon.
That was the only Minicon.
Yeah, they should have got Rumble.
They should have done all of them at least.
I know. I wanted to see Rumble.
Yeah.
Get ready to crumble before Rumble.
Is that actually how he sounded in the old show?
No, he sounded more like Frank Welker doing a New Yorker accent.
Okay.
That's what he said in the game.
Okay, fair enough.
Have you seen Transformers? No, I have not. I've seen Transformers.
Yeah, we've seen a couple episodes of the original cartoon. I've seen part of the movie. I don't know if Kat's seen the full thing.
I've seen the whole first movie. I have unfortunately seen Revenge of the Fallen also.
Yeah.
And I pretty much stopped the Michael Bay movies after that.
Yep, and then Kat also played the second video game.
Fall of Cybertron.
Yeah,
it is a classic.
which is the sort of prequel prologue of Transformers Prime.
Right. Prime tried to tie itself to the Cybertron games.
Yeah, I think he did a good job with it.
Me too. The only difference is their designs are vastly different.
Yeah, but also at the same time, like, the Prime is still able to stand on its own, thankfully.
Yeah, Prime is sort of attached to the Cybertron games, but then it became like a spin-off show, technically. The Hub did this on their network when they needed original programming when they were starting out, and because Hasbro owned them, might as well do a Transformers show.
Yep.
This was actually a surprisingly dark, mature show for Transformers. It was coming right after Animated. And the goofier CGI ones with Gary Chalk as Optimus. Yeah, it was a very dead series. They kind of played the Transformers for horror in this show.
Yeah.
It was like cosmic epicness, but also some sci-fi horror on the side. The Decepticons are way scarier in this show. Like, some of them are, like, borderline demonic looking.
Yeah.
Like, especially Megatron and Arachnid.
Yeah.
Oh, and Unicron, who's just Satan. Yeah, Prime was a pretty good show, introduced a whole new gen to Transformers, while also paying loving tribute to the old fans. They did have, like, some callbacks in there and mythology gags, like characters, actors from past Transformers properties. The late Tony Todd is in this show. Tony Todd was in the Michael Bay movie, Revenge of the Fallen. David Kaye, who also was in Transformers Animated and Beast Wars, comes back, and he plays, like, a character. And, oh, of course, how can we forget Peter Cullen and Frank Welker are Optimus and Megatron again after their last time was the 80s show.
Yep.
And they play more older and wiser, more badass versions of their past characters. Like, more experienced soldiers by this point.
Yeah.
Say, is it Eeyore or someone else voicing Prime in this? Yeah, Peter Cullen is Eeyore.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's fun. He plays Eeyore on the side, and he's, like, more famous for Optimus Prime, of course.
Yeah.
It's very jarring to hear Optimus on Winnie the Pooh. Yeah. A Transformers parody where the characters are trans. Oh, I'm sure that exists.
There actually was one, actually. I think it was by Flash Kits.
There was. Also, I see Mega Man times Optimus Prime. Mega Man X versus Optimus Prime.
That was the latest one. I think it was like the DS era of Mega Man.
Great Transformers series overall. It's up there with the greats like the original and Beast Wars. Yeah, it is. I actually like Transformers Animated.
That's fine.
I was a bit skeptical at first. I slowly got into the show when I saw, like, trailers for it, and the show also helped that it came before the Haunting Hour, so I catch glimpses of it before the show I wanted to see started, and yeah, I thought it was pretty good. My first full episode was the one where Silas becomes a human Autobot hybrid. Okay. I thought, wow, that actually looks cool and creepy.
Oh, you're talking about Prime.
Yeah, Prime.
Oh, I thought you said Animated.
No, okay. I was a fan of Animated. Yeah. That's the show I saw in elementary school. Yeah, I had all the figures. Animated is cool, too. Yeah. I might do that ranking one day on my own.
It's got a unique charm.
Yeah, it had a charm, and I was not ready, basically, for a new Transformers show, but I slowly got into it. I did get into it before Season 2 even ended. Okay. Like, it was pretty good, and I slowly got Wolf into it, too.
Yeah, I think you kind of had to drag me into it.
Yeah, and you ended up liking it.
Yeah.
It was pretty...
Well, yeah, it was good.
It was good. It was like...
It was back when shows could be good.
Right. Transformers Prime is essentially the Transformers Clone Wars.
Yeah.
It is a pretty good show connected to a popular franchise.
Right.
We really loved it, and of course what made it great is all the characters.
Yep.
Like, these were not one-note characters. Most of them actually had arcs. They were well-defined, had great personalities and killer designs.
I mean, some are one-offs here.
Yeah, some clearly are. Now, I will say we won't be having, like, one-shot characters like Skyquake or that girl who Jack flirted with for, like, 5 seconds.
Dang.
She didn't do anything, and she awkwardly leaves.
But come on, you're cutting out Skyquake.
Skyquake had one episode, then he's a zombie, okay?
Exactly. Such a good arc. He was living, then he's dead, then he was living again.
And he's, like, searching for his lost arm.
Which is impossible, because it got separated in a weird dimension shenanigan thing.
Right, yeah. Sorry, no one-shot characters. Some minor characters clearly made it, but most of them had more than one episode. That's the key thing.
Yeah.
These are all characters who played a part in the story in the show, essentially. And we're gonna be ranking them all. For those of you who still don't understand a tier list by this point, these are how the ranking works. We actually got a different one this time. There's double S rank, which is peak. They are the perfection. They're the ones we walked away from the show remembering forever. We got S rank, which is pretty good, pretty badass. Then we got A+. These are good, but could still use some extra improvement. The show did good, but outside of the show, maybe they were not as accepted.
Maybe.
Then we got A. These are decent characters. Definitely fun. You did remember them. They played their part. But they weren't as memorable as the Platinum tier. Then we got B, which is, again, also decent. Like, a bit, could use improvement, basically. They did a fine job, but could use some extra oomph. Then we got C, which is average. These are the okay, satisfactory. They did their job. They were adequate. Weren't great, but also weren't bad. Then we got D, which is below average. These are very weak characters. Could use a lot more improvement. Then we have E. These are pretty lame ducks, but there was a spark of hope where they could have been something good. And we have F, which is for failure. Yeah. You probably won't see too many down here, but
I don't think I'll see any in here, really.
We'll have to see who we go over.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's start this ranking then. Yeah. Since we don't have too many people in the stream yet, why don't we start with the ones everyone loves, the human characters.
Alright.
Get us warmed up at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we'll start with the humans first in case more people want to jump in and the title fixes itself.
Yeah.
Alright, ready, Wolf?
Yep.
Let's start with the first human we meet, Jack. Jack Darby.
Yep.
This is basically Shia LaBeouf's character, but done good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the normal, average, everyday guy. He's kind of a loser. He lives a boring, normal life. And then the Transformers war stumbles upon his path. He's, like, admiring Arcee while she's in disguise.
Yeah.
And, like, screwing around on her. But then some Decepticons spot her and chase her, and she's, like, forced to flee with this guy still on her.
Yep.
And basically, like, they also bump into Raphael during the chase, and she transforms, exposing herself to fight back against the following Decepticon scouts. He and Raphael and Miko get roped in because they witness Transformers being real and having a battle, because in this show, the Transformers are supposed to be in disguise.
Yep.
They're like incognito, kind of Men in Blackish. No one's supposed to know about them, and they have to cover their tracks.
Who even cares about human characters? Until in Jurassic movies, we don't care about the humans, we want the monsters. Okay, bringing Jurassic Park in with the human characters, I feel like that one is a bad one to say, because the characters in Jurassic, at least in the first couple, are still pretty good characters. You do care about them.
Right. They're also the ones that talk about and encounter the dinosaurs.
Yeah, exactly. They are an essential, they are important to the story. It's not just you want to see them die. You actually want to see them live.
It'd also be pretty boring to follow quiet animals for like 2 hours.
Exactly.
It's like, what? Have you seen Disney's Dinosaur where they did that? It didn't end pretty good. I actually thought Jack was a pretty good character. Over the course of the series,
he of course.
very slowly, like, accepts his role as hero, and he's the human connection the Transformers bond with the most. I remember, like, he's friends with Arcee, who's a total ice queen towards him. She doesn't like him. They're like, the Autobots are forced to be, like, bodyguards for the kids at first, but slowly become their friends and guardians. Practically family by the end.
Yeah, Jack and Arcee is the longest one, I think, for the bond building. Just
right,
because of
they
Arcee's
don't
own
like
trauma.
Each other, yeah.
That too.
They don't like each other at the start, but slowly become probably the best of
definitely.
Partnerships.
Well, yeah, because we've seen them have to go through the journey of this bonding together, unlike with the other characters, which we'll get into.
Yeah, it's like, Raphael had a bit of an arc, and Miko, I have mixed feelings on. We'll get to her, but yeah. Jack had the best. He and Arcee slowly bond. There's a point where Optimus gives him the key to Vector Sigma. This is like the key to Autobot memory and history in case he doesn't make it back. And Ratchet at one point describes that when Optimus was Orion Pax, he was similar to Jack in personality.
Yeah.
Which implies that Optimus, like, sees a bit of himself in him too. Right. Jack has the greatest character arc because he also, like, when Optimus loses his memory, he, like, uses the Matrix of Leadership, and that overwhelms him and erases his Prime persona.
And becomes Orion Pax once more.
Yeah, Megatron, like, dupes him because he and Megs used to be best friends back on Cybertron.
Yep.
And he basically abducts Optimus and drafts him to the Decepticons, pretending they're the good guys and the Autobots are evil.
Yep.
And so Jack is, like, given this responsibility where he can help Optimus get his memory back. That was what the key was for, because Optimus knew this would happen. And he and Arcee go to Cybertron, and he unlocks the archives down beneath. He and Arcee get into a fight with like Insecticons because they have like cocoons there or something. He unlocks it. He gives Optimus back his memory, and Optimus pretty much praises him because he knew he could trust him. And they have a pretty good friendship. He's also the first human who befriends Smokescreen too, the new guy who comes.
Trying to remember this.
You remember Nolan North, Smokescreen?
I'm trying so hard to remember Smokescreen.
He was pretty much a knockoff Hot Rod / Rodimus Prime. Or we were supposed to believe he was going to become the next Prime.
Right.
And that was going to be Rodimus next season, but no, they faked us out.
Yeah, God, I really don't remember this character.
We'll get to him. You'll probably learn. R.I.P. Tony Todd. Yeah, may he rest in peace. He was Dreadwing.
Right.
Where do you want to put Jack, then?
I honestly want to put him in probably A+ or S. I think his character was really good. It's not perfect, of course.
Right.
But he's definitely the best of them.
A+ or S?
I
want to put him in S because I liked him a lot.
Let's put him in S, then.
Yeah, he was voiced by Josh Keaton, too.
Yep.
Green Lantern and Spidey.
And Black Spider.
Who's just Spidey,
yep.
but evil. Yeah, okay, we'll give Jack S. Yep. He was the best of the human characters. He had the greatest arc, and he truly felt like an actual friend for the Autobots.
Exactly.
He's like the human connection, the best. And he was actually Shia LaBeouf's character done good.
Exactly, yeah.
All right.
Definitely the best of the human. As for me, Shadowlink, yep, agreed.
Let's get to the second human who saw them, Raphael.
Yeah.
So, Raphael is the smart kid, the nerd. He befriends Bumblebee because apparently he understands him. Bumblebee doesn't have his voice in this version again. He talks through his radio and beeps.
Well, because it got destroyed in Fall of Cybertron.
Fall of Cybertron. We saw how that happened. Yeah. In the show, it's kind of explained. Megatron shot him in that voice box, and yeah, it's forever scarred. He and Bumblebee form a bond. They actually have a cute bond together, and not really explored deeply, I would say, but
not at all.
They kind of became bros. Bumblebee's like a big brother to him.
Yeah.
They become friends. Raphael's also, since he's the nerd, he's a hacker.
Of course. He's
the one who can hack into things and helps pull strings when the Autobots need help, against the cons and mech. He's got computer skills. He actually forms a nice friendship with Ratchet, too, because they're both the smart guys on their team.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, Ratchet, warms up to him the most. He sees him as an annoying kid at first, because
Ratchet's
he hates
a
all
racist.
Of them.
Yeah.
Ratchet's a racist grandpa in this version.
I love it.
But Raph, slowly matures. He grows up a little. He doesn't get too much focus as Jack. That was the one problem.
Right, yeah.
But he slowly becomes trusted by the Autobots. The first time I actually care about him is in the first season finale. He almost dies when Megatron, shoots at Bumblebee. He's chasing Bumblebee and Raphael. He zaps him with, an electric current, and
right.
Bumblebee, barely survives, and Raphael, falls dead, basically.
Yeah.
And basically they have to revive him, and they gotta use human science and Cybertron science in, a surgery.
Completely forgot that part.
Yeah, Raphael is, actually dying for most of the Unicron finale. That was the thing, because Megatron's, Dark Energon infected him, and Ratchet thinks they can reverse engineer it to zap him back to life.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah, Raphael's, in a coma, at least, for half the series. Bumblebee is pissed, and he has a major grudge against Megatron more than before.
Yep.
And, yeah, you actually care about him. Did anyone say anything? Read some comments, hang on.
Also, the fashion, that's the Michael Keaton stuff, more about his voice. I bet the Michael Bay movies are in an alternate universe where Buddy accepted his best friend moving on and moved on himself and found someone else to be best friends with. Hoping we'll see what happens in Transformers 1 sequel of how Bumblebee voice box getting destroyed by Megatron.
Oh, Andy Pessoa, Raph's voice actor, was in the Frodo game.
Oh, nice.
In Lord of the Rings, Aragorn's Quest. Okay. My problem with Raph is that he doesn't do a whole lot. He's
effectively the hacker for most of it.
He's the mission control of the team.
Yeah.
He's always working on the computer. He befriends Ratchet, which I like. When the Autobots get attacked by the Decepticons and their base is destroyed, they're all scattered. I do like that he's the one who convinces Ratchet to come back, because Ratchet's literally in a dump rusting away, depressed about everything that happened.
Yeah, he's just ready to resign himself to death.
Yeah, Bumblebee and Raph finally track him down, and Raph's the one who convinces him that we have to fight back. We can't let Optimus die in vain,
Well,
basically.
of course, they have to do the trope where at first they'll talk to him, and of course, the call to action is unanswered, but then in their darkest hour...
Change my mind,
Yeah,
kid.
exactly, yeah.
Comes
And
back.
I do like how hopeful he was. He's willing to do all he can. They will go back to, I think, Arachnid's like ship or pod to start doing things, and that's where Ratchet comes back up.
Yeah, it was a crashed Decepticon
Yeah,
ship. Yeah, it still had like working tech there,
Right.
and they make a base out of it for temporarily.
Yeah.
I do like he's like the idealist, the optimistic
Exactly.
one.
Yeah, well, he's also the youngest one.
Like he brings them hope. He also snaps Bumblebee out of like his mind control when Megatron possesses him. Basically,
I forgot about that.
I forgot like Megatron.
I forgot about that
possessed
possession arc. Yes.
Yeah, when Megatron was in a coma for most of first season.
Yeah.
So yeah, his mind possessed Bumblebee and he like snaps him out of it.
Right.
Right. I thought like he had like he was kind of definitely the cute character.
Yeah, I
Definitely
also like in the prologue how he's set up where he doesn't have any friends, so all these people are especially important to him because they are the first friends he's ever had.
Right, he's
Like,
kind of
it's a
antisocial.
Really,
yeah,
it's a really touching moment.
Oh, and don't forget, Wolf, it's like a turducken.
Oh God, no, not the remix.
Turducken.
No,
Turducken.
I hated when the Hug did that. I hated that remix so much.
Like a turducken.
So awful. No. God, I wanted that memory to say buried.
That didn't help. That was our intro to that guy too. Turducken. Yeah, that was when they were hacking Laserbeak and putting a virus in him that was supposed to be a fake virus, but with the real virus.
Like, oh God.
Turducken.
You can stop. It's turducken because it's turkey, duck, and chicken. It's a real meal. Oh my gosh.
Again, I do like how he's basically Bumblebee's little bro, and he befriends Ratchet, which I thought was definitely a good factor because it helps Ratchet's character arc where he's slowly out of his racism towards humans. Where would you put Raph then on this ranking?
I would say probably A plus-ish. Because he's a good character. He fulfills his role, but that's really it.
I might put him on A then.
Okay.
All right, Raphael gets an A. Still a straight A student, Raph. Next we have Miko. I'm putting her on F.
Really?
I
You're putting her
hate
that
her.
low?
Miko sucks, man. She is a terrible version of Sorry Sumdak. That was the girl from Animated.
That's right. Well, Sorry Sumdak was also a robot.
Seems fair. Yeah. A seems fair.
No,
okay. Someone said Raph, yeah.
Okay. I hope that was about Raph and not about
I
Miko.
want to put Miko on F. She is the worst character of the show, man.
So I agree with that. However, I still can see parts of her that are good. Of course, her being the Wrecker and being paired up with
Bulkhead.
Yeah, Bulkhead. I don't know why I can't remember that name. Being with Bulkhead is amazing because he's the one trying to protect her while she's the one trying to run into danger all the time. I do like that. Also, of course, that gave us one of the coolest moments in the prologue where we see Bulkhead just destroying the Vehicron.
Rips his heart out Mortal Kombat style.
Just in order to protect them. Like, she's really good. She's also, I think, pretty good for setting up plots, I think, a couple times.
Who would you rather fight, Megatron or My Robot?
God, My Robot.
My Robot, we stand a better chance.
Yeah.
We can crush soda cans too, man.
Right. And I do agree that her personality and character quirks are not hard to get into. I don't like them, really.
Right, she's the wild girl,
exactly,
the Genkai
loud,
girl, the Mabel.
Yeah, and she's trying to basically strike out against her parents who are trying to force an uptight...
She's a rebel, man.
Yeah.
She's a foreign exchange student,
right.
Like living with foster parents right now.
Yeah.
And basically, she... likes the Autobots and is excited by their adventures, but she stupidly throws herself in danger all the time, and that got annoying because half the show is saving her dumbass, and she drags the two better boys with her to the grave. She and Bulkhead form a friendship, and...
Immediately.
Yeah, very immediately, too. Like, he's, like, driving her off cliffs or something.
Yeah.
Basically, she's supposed to have, like, a maturing arc, kind of. She, like, grows to accept it. She doesn't really develop until the arc where Bulkhead almost dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, for the first time, like, Bulkhead gets gravely injured and he almost dies. He's in a coma, and Miko finally realizes how dead serious this is because her best friend is wounded.
Doesn't it also give us a good moment with her and Arcee? Because, Arcee's been there.
Yeah, because she lost her partner.
Exactly, and of course Miko's wanting vengeance.
Yeah, Miko wants vengeance, and we see, like, she actually forms, I think, a stronger relationship with Wheeljack, who's,
Definitely.
like, Bulkhead's former bro.
Exactly, yeah. Another wrecker.
Yeah, they're both wreckers. They're both the tough guys, and Miko's totally into that because she likes rebel and badass. She's basically the Michael Bay fan base in a character.
I guess.
Pretty much the damsel of the series, but yeah, she's a bad character, I agree.
I just don't think she's F tier. I can put her in E tier.
E tier, really?
I think so.
I think that's too high.
I think there's some things that I can like about her.
Well, as I was saying, her character, where she and Wheeljack bond, first when Bulkhead's dying, Wheeljack also wants revenge, and this leads to her first interesting episode where she and Wheeljack work together to find the Khan who killed him, and it's an Insecticon named Hardshell. He's played by David Kaye using his Lugnut voice. So,
nice.
Yeah, they both track him down, and they want a one-on-one match with him, and he agrees because he failed to kill Bulkhead, and he wants to redeem his honor for Megatron by killing Wheeljack. He almost kills Wheeljack until Miko lasers him into death in the face, shoots him at the last second, and this actually leads to, Megatron realizing that these humans are more dangerous allies for the Autobots to have.
Yeah, they're not just things that,
they're not pets like
exactly.
Starscream says.
They're not insects they can just hit away. They can be legitimate threats.
They thought the E grade meant excellent when it's a failing grade because it's above F. Then she kind of doesn't do too much after that. After Bulkhead recovers, she's pretty much just cheering him up, and then she kind of fades into the background for most of the series. I remember she's still trying to be Bulkhead's voice of hope and reason when they're separated.
Right.
They meet up with Wheeljack. Again, I think her and Wheeljack had a better bond than Bulkhead.
Yeah.
There's another episode where they tried to give her character, but it's so stupid. She wanders into another battle again, and she's trying to help, get an artifact while the Decepticons are fighting over it, and she, accidentally, hits Bulkhead with it, and he gets this sort of virus that gives him, hyper-intelligence. It's a memory chip is the artifact, and it downloads onto Bulkhead, and he becomes, a weird, OCD nerd who's, painting all these energon and science equations.
Okay.
And the Autobots basically use that, and she's butthurt because her friend's mind is lost.
Yeah.
And, it's the first time we actually see she cares about Bulkhead as a person.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it was, a rare time, and she basically tries to get him to snap back, basically, and does the right thing at the end, and succeeds in the end where his memory does come back, but, again, almost costing Bulkhead his life.
Yeah.
Where do you want to put Miko then?
Again, E. I don't like her. Her character is played really well.
Her voice actress is doing
that
good,
too.
but yeah.
I mean, it's more how she's written. She's really stuck to the archetype she is.
I remember the only scene I liked is where the Predaking dragon is beating her up while she's in the power armor.
I do not remember.
Yeah, remember she gets the power armor to fight Starscream, and then he just summons the Predaking dragon, and it's beating her and beats her up in the background while Starscream takes an angry call from Megatron.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only scene I liked her. She's awful. She's the worst.
I know. She's grating. She's annoying. But I still think there is some good to her character. At least some moments.
Oh, you know who created this character, Wolf?
Who?
Alex Kurtzman.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he really liked her, and he kept trying to give her more screen time on the show while he was funding it.
I keep forgetting that guy's attached to this.
Yeah, Alex Kurtzman.
Because he, destroys Star Trek.
It was back when he was with Robert Orci, and they both used to work on good shows before he took over.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, before Alex Kurtzman lost his mind.
They wouldn't get shows today if they weren't good, at least.
Yeah, Alex Kurtzman wrote this character, and appropriately, she's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the worst human. Did not like Miko. I would say she's the worst character in the series.
Okay.
Well, alright, let's move on to our next human, Agent Fowler.
Oh, he's funny.
He's funny.
I do kind of hate that he does get reduced to comedy. in quite a lot of scenarios.
Yeah, he's played by former Ghostbuster Ernie Hudson.
Yep.
In one of his rare voice acting roles, actually. He's the secret government agent who's a liaison between the U.S. government and the Autobots.
Right.
He's like their angry boss cliche. He's talking the bridge between humanity and the Autobots. He's managing them, basically. He gets roped into a lot of their adventures, too, when the Decepticon threat grows.
Yep.
He had some very funny moments. He was definitely a slightly comedic character. But
Yeah.
I remember the best stories with him are usually when he got involved with Mech, because Mech was like a rogue splinter group, and at one point he has a one-on-one fight against Silas.
Yeah.
Because he reveals that he used to be a Green Beret.
Well, yeah, of course.
And it was pretty cool, and he actually beats up Silas, and then the Nemesis Prime comes crashing down, and that's what crushes Silas half to death.
Jeez.
He was definitely a funny character, and Season 3, he's like trying to deal with the Decepticons, like they're giving demands, basically,
right,
and he's like trying to buy time for Team Prime to send them a message, hoping that they're alive and can fight back against this.
Yeah.
And he sort of forms a romance with Jack's mom. They like tease that, but
I don't think they go anywhere with it.
I heard Ernie Hudson wanted to be Winston on the real Ghostbusters, but they said no because it said he didn't sound like Winston from the movie. Oh yeah, Phalis mentioned that.
That's right, I forgot.
Yeah, Ernie Hudson wanted to be in the animated show, and they said no for some stupid reason.
Right.
Yeah, I don't really hear much from Ernie Hudson.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the guy is doing a bunch of Ghostbusters projects, apparently.
Nice. Fowler kind of feels like a watered-down version of Danny Glover's character from Predator 2.
Oh, does he?
I guess
the angry cop guy?
Yeah.
Remember him? He's like fighting the Predator.
Well, yeah,
he's like
he's the
too
main
old
character.
For this shit. I thought Agent Fowler was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's fine as a character.
I would give him a regular A or A+.
I could see a regular A above Raph.
Above Raph, definitely.
Yeah, I enjoyed him more. Probably just because of the comedy.
Right. He and Optimus also had like the most chemistry because they're both the leaders.
Exactly. Yeah,
and
they can relate to that.
He like very begrudgingly actually slowly respects Optimus.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the thing because Optimus was the only reasonable one in the gang. And he and Optimus kind of share a bond as leaders. He like grows to realize that the Autobots are important to Earth after all.
Yeah.
And not just the burden he treats them as first season.
Right.
Agent Fowler's definitely cool. Give him a regular A.
Yep.
Last human, Jack's mom, June Darby.
She doesn't have a whole lot of characters, the big problem.
She's kind of the overprotective mom,
exactly.
basically.
The good moment is when Arcee, when like she's finally let into all the Transformers stuff.
Like, she's a bit critical of Arcee at first, because she's, like, worried Arcee can't protect Jack.
Yeah.
Even when they go on, like, a routine mission that has no danger. They imply that she, like, and Fowler, like, hints at a romance. It doesn't go anywhere, basically. Right. She's overprotective. Her most important episode is where Mech and Arachnid abduct her because they find out about Arcee's connection to Jack and take the humans hostage so Arcee will come into a trap where Arachnid gets her revenge against Arcee and then Mech gets to mutilate her corpse for parts.
Yep.
And this is where like Jack actually proves himself. He and Arcee work together to save the mom, and she just finds out about the Autobots and starts letting him bond with them.
Yeah.
Then she spends most of her screen time being, like, afraid for Jack's safety.
Of course, yeah. There's not much to her character.
Not too much. I remember, like, Season 3 is where she started treating him more like a man, basically, because he's on his own.
Right.
She, like, trusts him more, and this leads to the high point, again, where Jack goes to Cybertron because, like, she finally lets him, like, be a man and basically do his own thing.
Right. She recognizes how he's maturing.
Yeah, and she they need to save Optimus or else Earth is screwed. So she finally lets go. But they still love each other.
Got a person who loves the MILFs in chat.
Yeah, she's pretty much the hot girl for the human parents. Yeah.
Not really, still.
She's a MILF.
She has a very mature beauty to her.
So yeah, she's pretty, but...
Yeah, but again... And then,
I think Arcee was hotter.
But again, there's not much to her character is the big problem.
Yeah, she's mostly comic relief, kind of. She had some serious moments, but yeah.
I think the episode that features her the most before the one where she gets kidnapped is The one which tries to ground Jack.
Oh,
And
yeah,
Arcee.
Arcee. I think that was the same episode,
Was
though.
that?
Yeah, like,
Oh,
Arcee is,
okay.
like, he can't use the motorcycle, and Arcee needs to, like, portal in and out of the garage.
God, that was hilarious.
Yeah. That was funny. She's like, because Jack is, like, staying out past curfew. It's, like, midnight, and he's coming home late. She doesn't know where he is.
Right.
So she's, like, appropriately worried a bit.
Yeah.
Where would you rank her, then?
That's the thing.
She's, like, not a bad character, but she's also not that great.
Yeah.
I'd put her on B, at least. She had her moments.
I guess.
But would you put her lower?
I just really don't know where I would put her is the problem.
She's definitely not S rank.
I mean, yeah, she's definitely not even A, unfortunately.
Yeah, she's just, like, the only parent we see who reacts to this stuff.
Yeah, maybe
so
C.
really C.
Yeah, well, I feel like they could have also used her a bit more.
I'll put her on C then.
Yeah.
Definitely 1 point for being a MILF.
I would say B or C, Shadowlink, Kara C, yeah.
Yeah, she's an okay
It's just
character.
really hard to place her.
She wasn't that a huge into the story. She's like an
Exactly.
emotional character for Jack. Yeah.
Does she help on the draft stuff, though?
Yeah.
Isn't she a nurse?
Yeah, she was a nurse. They brought her in, and she, like, tends to Raphael while he's on there, because she knows human anatomy.
Exactly, yeah.
And she mostly spends a lot of time bitching at Ratchet because, like, they should take him to a real hospital, and Ratchet's not equipped, but, like, Ratchet knows Cybertronian effects.
Exactly, so they need both of their expertise for this, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'll put her on C. She's an okay character.
Exactly. She's just fine.
So we finally got... Oh, wait, we got one more human.
Yeah.
Silas, the leader of Mech. They're like an evil organization that wants to create high-tech technology to basically take over the world.
Yeah, they're just a terrorist group,
Yeah,
really.
they're terrorists at first, and then they stumble upon the Transformers. So they're, like, trying to hijack this super generator from them, and the Autobots are, like, transporting it for the government. And they discover Transformers, and then Silas believes they have to have that technology.
Yeah.
Because Cybertronian tech is so advanced compared to Earth's that who knows what they could do with it.
Exactly, and he's going to try to apply it to war.
Yeah, these were actually rare good human villains for Transformers.
Well, I mean, they're basically supposed to serve a foil to Fowler and the government.
Right. They're like real-life terrorists, and Optimus like realizes that they're evil humans. He calls them basically Earth's Decepticons.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically they keep trying to attack the Transformers because they want to, like, take their tech, and this includes attacking any of the Transformers and harvesting their organs, basically.
Yeah.
It leads to a lot of cool, dark storylines, especially because Mech actually kills people.
Right.
And some of their forces get blasted to smithereens by the Transformers. Yeah, they had a lot of cool, dark arcs, especially because they treat the Transformers like they're tech and not people.
Exactly.
And basically a lot of darkness because they're opening them up and harvesting their organs. They capture Breakdown at one point, like, gouge his eye out, take, like, parts from him.
Yeah.
This leads to pretty much their high point where they build the Nemesis Prime, an evil Optimus.
Yep.
And it's also voiced by Peter Cullen, but
course.
I think, like, Silas has a mic to him, too, that translates his voice.
Yeah.
They make the Nemesis Prime and basically frame Optimus for a lot of their terrorism and stealing stuff for them. And Optimus fights them. They have the big epic fight. Optimus and Fowler team up for the first time. They destroy Nemesis and knock him, crushing Silas, and this leads to his second biggest moment in the story where Mech rebuilds him because they find Breakdown's corpse from a battle and basically put him in it, where they make him a cybernetic human transformer hybrid.
Right.
Where he like wears Breakdown's corpse as his own and becomes a transformer. Then we abruptly end the Mech saga where he kills them all for saving his life so he can join the Decepticons.
Yeah. He wants more power, what can you say?
That marijuana screen, yeah, that's a bad ad.
It was bad, yeah.
I don't know why, the tier list has that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he basically kills Mech, and that abruptly ends their entire story arc.
Right, but then Silas goes on to do other stuff.
Yeah, he comes back, he tries to join the Decepticons. He has, like, a giant kill satellite that can shoot them from space.
Yep.
He tries to impress Megatron, then they're, like, fighting the Autobots, and then it fails. It's the episode where Bulkhead gets his groove back and comes out of his injuries.
Nice.
They destroy his satellite, then Megatron deems him a failure and then sends him to be dissected by Knockout, and he's used as a test subject for like half the season until the final arc.
Where he comes back for like one episode.
Yeah, he gets like one episode. He's basically been Knockout's like test subject, and then they try using the synthetic energon mixed with dark energon on him, and that turns him into a vampire, kind of.
Yeah.
He like breaks free and becomes a zombie vampire transformer, and he's like attacking guys on the ship, turning them into other zombies.
Right, and it leads to Knockout and Starscream having to team up.
Right, they fight them.
Then zombie episode, still a good episode.
It was one of the best episodes.
Yeah,
it gets out of hand. Silas is like still desperately searching for energon, and he breaks open Arachnid's cryo prison.
Right,
and basically she escapes and kills him for good.
Yep.
Yeah, she like puts him down, but we see
I think
like
he also thanks her for it.
Yeah, it's like a mercy by this point. He was being tortured. Man.
Yeah, and he's also this weird undead abomination thing. Of course, death is something you would wish for.
But you can't help but feel it's kind of his karma for the horrible stuff he did.
Definitely.
Like he treated the Transformers like test subjects to abuse, and he becomes an abused test subject.
Yeah.
Like a poetic justice,
and then he becomes a monster.
He became a monster, and he was thankful because he could finally die in peace.
Yep.
And that's basically the end of his story.
Yeah.
Silas and his arc in a nutshell.
Keith David Power corrupts us all, yep.
Yep, he got easily corrupted by the power.
Remember when they swore in the 1986 movie? I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, they did. They at one point say, "Oh shit, what are we gonna do?"
It was a movie.
It was a movie, so
might as well let him.
Yeah, and oh yeah, Silas is voiced by Clancy Brown.
Oh, nice.
Who played Lex Luthor, Mr. Krabs.
The one cop, the human cop from David Cage's shitty game, Detroit Become Human, that's what it was.
He played Groon on the Anime Thundercat saga.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, a lot of characters. You can recognize his voice easily.
Exactly, yeah.
Where would you want to put Silas on the ranking, then? He actually had a pretty cool character.
Yeah, he had a cool plot, cool arc.
Definitely a cool human Transformers villain, which was a rarity.
And he wasn't overused as well.
Yeah, he had this very creepy, like, kind of a Call of Duty Spec Ops kind of thing for the half the series.
Love that.
Then
I do kind of hate how he does basically get shelved for a long time.
Yeah, they shelved him after Megatron throws him into the science labs.
I kind of feel like they just didn't know how to bring him back.
It's like, yeah, they didn't know what to use with him. I thought they would have just actually had him as a new minion for Megatron.
Right,
that would have been better. We could have seen him more.
I mean, he technically is. He's just off-screen in the background.
Right. But yeah, they basically amount to him being killed off, getting his comeuppance, and being one of the villain threads that they actually did end.
Yeah.
Where would you want to put him, though? Definitely a cool villain.
Exactly, yeah.
They do also tell us that he was, like, a former military colonel because he uses his, like, new transform abilities to access.
Right.
He used to be a human commander before he secretly joined the Splinter Cell agency.
Right.
Like, turned against the U.S. Fowler, like, calls him out on it in their fights.
Right. Akira says S. I don't think I can really agree with that.
Maybe A+.
Maybe.
He was definitely a cool villain.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he was also a threat. He actually outsmarts Starscream, too.
Yeah.
Like, remember, they stole Starscream's T-Cog.
Right, yes.
Like, Starscream teamed up with him. They were going to steal Bumblebee's T-Cog, but Starscream failed. And then they betray Starscream first and steal his.
Yeah.
Basically, Starscream isn't able to transform for an entire season.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was actually a threat, too. So that's why I want kind of an A+.
Yeah, we can put an A+. A+ looks fine from Shadow Link.
Yeah, A+ for Silas. Best human villain since the Headmaster.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. He's Mr. Ross of Transformers. I don't know what that character is.
Mr. Ross, trying to remember him.
Okay. He's also the head guard in Shawshank, apparently.
Oh, yeah, he was in that movie. He was the corrupt guard who, like, beat prisoners.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was one of his, like, early live-action roles.
Yeah.
And he was in Flubber. Alright. So, we're finally done with the humans. So, what do you want to do first, Wolf? Autobots or Decepticons? Okay. You guys decide then in the chat. Autobots or Decepticons next? Yeah, thankfully we got all the humans out of the way. In case you're just joining in, Jack is the highest. Next is Silas. Then we got Fowler and Raph, who are pretty fine characters. There's Jack's mom, who's okay, not that important, and Miko, who sucks, easily worst character of the series. Yeah, I do believe that Miko sucks. Oh, Autobots. Quintessons, those weren't even in this show. He's the Red Hulk. Yeah, Clancy Brown was in everything. From Hulk Agents of Smash. Oh yeah, I've been trying to watch that show. People want the Autobots, it seems. Yeah, the Autobots actually start with a small group. There's mainly 5, technically 6, because Cliffjumper was a key member. Yeah, the Autobots, if you're unfamiliar, crash-landed on Earth and have been scattered to the wind and are slowly reuniting, and Optimus kind of has a makeshift team of the Autobots who made it to Earth and survived the war. And we, at first, have 6 of them. Optimus makes it, his second-in-command Ratchet makes it, Bumblebee, the voiceless scout, makes it, Bulkhead, a wrecker, makes it, Arcee, and Cliffjumper are also the recent who portal down.
Yep.
Okay, people seem to want the Autobots.
Yep.
So let's start with our first one, Cliffjumper, voiced by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Wolf's favorite actor. The Scorpion King, bro.
Uh-huh.
Alright, so Cliffjumper is technically the first we see.
Yeah.
And he's basically a glorified red shirt in his first appearance.
I mean, he's even painted red.
Right. Cliffjumper is chit-chatting with Arcee, and he's like this cool Texan car with horns.
Yeah.
And then he stumbles upon the Energon that the Decepticons are harvesting, and we find out, oh, the Decepticons made it to Earth, and he's their first casualty.
Yep.
He, like, fights them, puts up a good fight, gets beaten up, and then Starscream executes him to establish that this is a dark show.
And then he's revived by the Dark Energon.
Yeah, he's used as a test subject with the blood of Unicron, and comes back as a zombie, then dies again. Like, he gets sliced in half by Megatron. Arcee thinks she saved him, but no, he's zombie. She drops him, he falls to his death, and then if that didn't kill him, Starscream blows up the mines.
Yeah.
We don't get his character until a flashback episode.
Right. And we get kind of a good amount of character in the first thing. I feel.
Basically Arcee kind of tells us his character.
Oh, yeah, that too.
He's also kind of the hotshot tough guy. He likes a good fight, he's confident, he's chatty, and he's kind of like the beacon of light in Arcee's life. They imply they might have had a thing.
I don't know. I feel like it's just, again, a close friendship, partnership thing.
I think she and Tailgate were more likely
lovers.
lovers.
That one feels more like it.
Yeah, Cliffjumper became her new best friend. We don't get his character until this flashback where she's comforting Miko, talking about, like, losing a friend, and she finally reveals Cliffjumper's story.
Yeah.
Where Cliffjumper was also in the same unit as her, but got captured, and it was being interrogated by the Decepticons. This time, Starscream and Shockwave capture them.
Yeah.
Because they got a message from Optimus Prime, and they're trying to interrogate him on where he is.
Yeah.
Because the Decepticons still want to end this war. So, Cliffjumper is basically locked in a cage with Arcee, and they slowly but surely bond, get to know more about each other. He brings out her hope again. They become odd friends by the end. Like, they both use their skills. He's a talker, a distractor. She's a sneaky, stealthy ninja bot, basically.
Yep.
They slowly bond. They actually double-team Starscream and Shockwave together, and they make it through the space bridge to Earth, because that's where they find out Optimus is.
And they leave Shockwave in between.
Yeah, Shockwave is, like, stranded for most of the season. We find out he's alive in a twist in 3.
Yep.
And yeah, Cliffjumper comes to her, and they're best friends, and they imply they had some adventures on Earth before he died.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and he's voiced by The Rock.
Yep, this must have been before his contract clause of where he always has to win.
Yeah, the first time The Rock dies in something since the Scorpion King.
Where he was the villain.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson voicing Cliffjumper didn't come back.
And then can't it be both for the
he was
friendship, relationship stuff?
I'm sure they wanted a celebrity guest star, and because he was going to get killed off, might as well. Yeah, I actually like Cliffjumper's devilish design. He's like a daredevil.
Basically. Daredevil was also a bull, because that's his fucking quote.
Yeah, you want the horns, you got them.
Yeah, he's just a bull. That's what the red's also for.
Yeah, Dwayne Johnson's good, but he's no Casey Kasem. I liked him.
Honestly, I feel like this is probably Dwayne The Rock's best role.
Really, where he just dies?
Yeah, well, because the way he also does him in this way, I think that's the best.
He's not the tough guy,
exactly.
actually. He's kind of a dork.
Yeah, he's not being glorified either. That's the thing I can't stand about The Rock.
Like, he's always the most badass man.
Exactly. Like, skyscraper, I'm actually behind you.
He was okay in the G.I. Joe movie as Roadblock.
Yeah, but then he became, like, the main character in the second one.
Well, yeah, he stole it because Duke died, and Dwayne had that clause where he can't lose.
Yeah, Dwayne's the most popular one of them, so...
He was busy doing G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
He also died in Jumanji. Well, that's a video game. He had, like, extra lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of a joke where he... Yeah, it's like, The Rock dies, and he comes back because they had 3 lives for each character. That doesn't count.
There's also Maui and Moana 1, 2, and the live-action one that's
Black
coming out.
Adam. Oh, how could we forget that masterpiece?
Yeah. Also, cameo in Wizards of Waverly Place and Hannah Montana. I believe it. I don't know if that's just himself, though.
Oh, and he was also in Gem.
Yeah. I mean, he was also just a wrestler, so of course he has to play up character there, too.
Okay, I got kind of a weakness for Cliffjumper because I love him on past shows, but I did really like him on Prime, mostly because he complements Arcee's arc.
Yeah, definitely.
He was definitely a fun character. We got, like, one actual character episode about him, but it was pretty good. And his death does affect the Autobots. It's like, his death is supposed to show you that the Autobots are really endangered in this show. They can die at any moment. This is a dead serious show.
Is he the only Autobot that does die, though?
Like,
of the ones that are alive in this war.
Well, Sea Spray died off screen. He's like, ship that gets blown up.
And there's also, of course, Arcee's other partner.
Tailgate. Yeah. But he was, like, also in Shadow, too, and he was a posthumous character.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like...
So, is Cliffjumper the only Autobot that was part of the team on
Optimus
Earth and dies?
Yeah, the Autobots get a lot of fake-out deaths, basically.
Yeah,
I remember Bumblebee got shot and died, and I would have praised him if he did die in the finale.
Oh, yeah, but
remember that sad shot where he's shot by Megatron?
Oh, they only slowed it down.
Yeah.
How could I forget?
I actually wish they did kill him because that would have made a huge impact. Yeah. But yeah, I understand. Everyone loves Bumblebee.
Right, and he gets his voice box. But we'll get into that later.
Yeah, technically Optimus does die in the finale where he sacrifices himself to the Well of Allsparks, but spoiler alert, he comes back in a sequel series. Yeah. Is this the end of Optimus Prime?
Tune in next time for the return of Optimus Prime.
Yep. Alright, so where would you put Cliffjumper?
I could put him in A or A+.
A or A+, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take advantage of that and put him on A+.
Of course you will.
We'll put him behind Silas.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Cliffjumper. He was fun. I wish he got more. Probably Dwayne The Rock's best role. Yeah, like those Wolf said.
Yeah.
You actually had persona outside of being the tough guy. Alright, so let's get to the real action. Alright, you want to do this? The leader of the Autobots, Optimus Prime.
Yep.
Oh.
Who in a past life was Orion Pax.
Is this even a mystery? Let's put him in double S.
Yes, the Schuhstaffelrink.
SS for Optimus. Yeah, this is one of the best iterations of Optimus Prime ever.
Yeah.
Peter Cullen comes back voicing him, and he's at his A game in this.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think there's a bad moment with him.
Yeah, he was great. He had some funny moments here and there. Like when Raphael and Miko pretend nothing's up, and
Optimus yes, that's right.
And they do very poorly. And Optimus
goes, yeah.
Optimus is the ultimate badass in this show too. He gets the most action scenes, surprisingly.
Right.
He's like kicking ass and basically kind of redeeming him for all the little he did in Michael Bay's crap. Where he actually is the leader. He actually is the greatest warrior. He's the chosen one.
Right.
He's the great leader of the Autobots, our last hope to win this war. Optimus is actually like, this is the one that's wise, the one who's been around the block, the one who knows things. He's a totally experienced Optimus Prime by this point.
Yeah.
He's at his most badass. He's trying to bring hope. He's making some harder decisions here thanks to the limits the Autobots face in this show.
Right.
He does get character arcs, like, later in the series. I think first season is a bit slow. It's mostly him accepting the humans.
Right.
Yeah, like, Optimus, we find out more about him as the show progresses. This is where they officially teach people that he and Megatron used to be friends. when he was Orion Pax, and I guess Megatron was D16, like in the movie.
No, he was Megatronus.
Yeah, he's
Don't you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
How could you forget his Roman slave name?
I was kind of suspected that Optimus and Megatron might have been brothers.
I can see how people might think that, but I think it's the spiritual brothers, where you have that strong of a bond with someone, you're willing to call them a brother, but you're not blood related.
Right, okay. They were both, like, basically lowly class bots on their planet.
Yeah.
And they wanted to change the Cybertronian government to prevent all these problems, but Megatronus, like, oozed out his true colors and showed that he was kind of a madman, a dictator.
Yeah.
Wanted to have these Hitler-esque kind of constructions, but Optimus preached for peace, unity, like treating all as equals, basically giving a lot more benefits, but also sharing the power, kind of.
Yeah.
A lot more of a benevolent leadership, and then this convinced the Primes to make him this new leader, but jealous Megatronus decided to make his own with blackjack and hookers, where he became the Decepticon leader and waged war on their government.
Yep.
And this led to the war for Cybertron, the fall of Cybertron, and the exodus to Earth.
Yep.
And basically they've been carrying on this battle for like 1,000,000 years. Optimus actually does get some interesting character arcs. He frequently tries getting the cons to become peaceful.
Right.
Like, the war is over. Like, what do we have to fight for by this point?
Exactly.
The Decepticons are still out for blood. But
yeah, they're continuing a pointless war. He does also try, was it Dreadwing or Dreadwing's brother?
Both of them, pretty much. He tried telling Skyquake, oh, Megatron is dead.
Yeah.
We should just resolve things and start rebuilding, but Skyquake wants to avenge Megatron, and they fight.
Right, and then Dreadwing blames Optimus for his brother's death.
Yeah, they kind of
and then
blame
Optimus later finally tells him the truth.
Yeah, that Starscream killed his brother, and
Right.
he almost actually makes a breakthrough with Dreadwing. There's like an episode, I remember the best episode with him is where he and Dreadwing are like forced to team up when they're hunting like MacGuffin weapons like from Cybertron, and Starscream gets to it first, and Dreadwing and Optimus are forced to team up against him.
Yep.
And we find out that Dreadwing actually does have a code, a sense of honor, because Dreadwing's kind of a Transformer samurai, basically.
Yeah.
He and Dreadwing like form a bond, and they both double team Starscream when he's wearing the Apex armor. It's this super invulnerable Samus suit, kind of.
Okay.
And, like, they both outsmart him and sink him to the bottom of the Arctic.
Yep.
And, yeah, Optimus, like, maintains, like, a lot of hope and his heroism, but he's, like, not afraid to be brutal, too, because we see, like, it's merciless when he wants to be.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I remember when they fixed the Cybertronian lock with the keys, and Megatron is going to destroy Earth with it. Optimus goes berserk and fucking cuts them down. He, like, slashes Megatron's hand off and beats all the cons' asses before slicing the lock, saving the Earth, but also dooming their planet, because it was also gonna save them. And, his most important arc is when the Decepticons finally find their base, and they blow it up. Optimus sacrifices himself staying behind, and then he almost dies. He's, like, fading in and out. Smokescreen recovers him from the debris, basically. And they're, like, hiding in a cave, and Optimus is dying. And he talks about how he, like, starts to lose hope. And basically talks about how he failed.
Yeah, and that's where we get the sort of Rodimus parallels you're thinking.
Yeah, that's where I was thinking. Like, the trailer made it seem like Optimus is going to pass on the Matrix to Smokescreen, and Smokescreen almost became this version of Rodimus Prime from the 80s show and the movie.
I'm slowly piecing together Smokescreen now.
Yeah, Smokescreen was the newbie rookie.
Yeah.
We'll get to him.
Okay.
But yeah, he's like in this cave. Smokescreen is trying to desperately keep him alive, is doing some recon, and Optimus is fading in and out. We finally see the cracks between him. He's like fading, and Smokescreen manages to steal one of the relics, and Optimus tells him, no, it must be used to repair the lock that will repair Cybertron, but Smokescreen decides, no, he can't do that. He saves Optimus by using the Forge to rebuild him.
Yeah.
And he becomes the kick-ass flying Optimus from the Gary Chalk show. He has a jetpack now, and he comes back in action, is now bigger and buffer than before, and
yeah, you gotta sell more toys.
his jetpack turns into his trailer now.
Yeah.
And he comes in, flying in when the Autobots are in their darkest hour, losing, and beats Megatron's ass and destroys Decepticon Tower.
Yep.
And basically Optimus is back in full force in the saddle, and he resumes his leadership all the way up to the finale.
Yep.
So, yeah, definitely SS rank. Like,
yeah.
Peter
They
Cullen
do not
is
miss
great.
a beat with him.
This is the Optimus everyone loves. This is the peak Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
Peter Cullen became legendary in this show. He was great in the 80s. He was great in the Michael Bay movies, the only great thing in those movies. But they really loved Optimus Prime in this show, and that definitely shows.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you all saw my vote poll. Everyone loves Peter Cullen, and I'm glad that now new generations can appreciate what he brought to Optimus.
Okay.
While we're here, I wanted to mention, Peter Cullen allegedly based his performance off his brother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, his brother was like a military captain.
Okay.
And yeah, he was like looked up to his big bro, inspired by him, and
nice.
based his voice off of him, I believe, and his mannerisms to make Optimus.
Okay.
Which kind of explains his military mind. But yeah, Optimus, double S rank. He is great. He's the top.
Yep.
Alright, so what bot you want to do next? Bulkhead, Bumblebee, your favorite Arcee, Ratchet?
I kind of want to do Ratchet.
Alright,
There's one moment I gotta talk about.
Ratchet, the medic, the second in command, played by the Reanimator, Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah.
You know him as The Question from Justice League Unlimited.
Yep.
Yeah, Jeffrey Combs is Ratchet. So, what do you want to say, Wolf?
God, first of all, yes, he is a racist. He does not like the humans whatsoever. He always tries to get them to leave or, like, bat them away whenever, just every single time. Raph is the only one he comes to respect, I think, first. But mostly because Raph also helped hack in, like, one of the first episodes when they get on the ship. But I also love one specific episode where
Jesus.
Yeah, where he's trying to, in order to solve the Energon crisis the Autobots are having, because that's actually a big plot point for, like, the first season.
Yeah, they have less than the Decepticons.
Exactly. Dude. And so he starts to create the synthetic Energon, which basically is just a steroids analog.
Steroids.
And I love it. I love that episode when he's on it, because he's acting like he's like young, brash, just destroying everything in his wake, thinking he's better than literally everyone.
He's Anakin Skywalker.
Right, and then he gets destroyed by Megatron, of course.
Megatron, like, pwns him. Like, he gets a punch on him, and this pisses Megatron off. Then Megatron, like, grabs his hand, is, like, breaking it, it's holding it, and then one punches right through him.
Yeah, it just destroys him utterly.
This brings him back to his senses.
Right.
And, like, he's bleeding the synthetic profusely out of him.
Yeah.
But, he does gather up enough strength when Knockout, like, tries to dissect him.
Yeah.
And, yeah, proves that he's still got it in him, even at his age.
Yeah, and, like, I honestly just really like him for that.
Then he's basically growing up out of his racist grandpa kind of arc, and he actually grows to love the humans. Like he hates Earth for most of the series, and then at the end he actually decides he wants to stay.
Yeah,
he wants to be like the bridge between them now.
Right, which I think is very fitting for his character.
Yeah, I actually liked that. He complete turnaround. He accepts the humans as his friends and actually wants to stay on Earth, even though he complained about how Cybertron was better for the series.
And I think of all of them, I think he actually lives up to Optimus Prime's, like, ideals and the standard he set the most.
Yeah, he's Optimus Prime's best friend, basically. Yeah. He's the second in command. I think he took over after Ironhide died, but he and Optimus have been through war the most. That's why he, like, respects him and his opinion. Ratchet has pretty cool weapons, too. He has, like, scalpel swords instead of regular blades.
Right.
Like, he's the medic. I do like Jeffrey Combs delivers a fun performance.
Oh, yeah,
like,
definitely.
He was definitely having fun in this.
Especially when Bulkhead breaks everything.
Bulkhead, I needed that.
Yes, that was the recurring bit for a good time.
That was his catchphrase.
It becomes dramatic when Orion Pax is back.
All right, Ratchet was great in the show. Yeah. So here's the thing. I actually have a stronger connection to the animated Ratchet.
Really?
That animated made Ratchet one of my favorite characters, and I really love Corey Burton's performance over that. Like, Like, I keep fighting fans with this over who is the better Ratchet, Corey Burton or Jeffrey Combs.
Well, yeah, you're gonna fight me because I think Jeffrey Combs is better.
Like, I loved Corey Burton. I loved his Ratchet. He also does the grumpy old man bit and slowly coming around, but we actually see why he's cynical the way he is. In Transformers Animated, he's a washed-up war hero. He's seen some stuff. He's seen some nightmares. He encountered the brutality of war. And this is best shown in, like, his episode where he fights Lockdown, who's bounty hunting Arcee, because, animated Arcee, to be specific. Arcee has, like, codes, and Ratchet is forced to, like, blank her memory so the Decepticons don't get their hands on the codes. And she's basically, she becomes a mindless husk because of his medical knowledge, and this really breaks him, and Ratchet's, like, getting medals because he's a war hero, but he doesn't feel like a hero.
Yeah.
And he encountered, like, a lot of hardships during the old Decepticon war, and it's why he became a cynical, grouchy old man in the current time we follow him. And that really made me like him. We see he also does have his good in him. Like, in Animated, Optimus is younger. He actually looks up to Ratchet as this great hero. And that's how they start forming their bond, because he sees Ratchet as this great figure, but Ratchet doesn't feel as a hero.
Right.
And, yeah, that honestly made me love Animated more. My favorite line is, like, my favorite line that really hit me is, like, the Autobots are getting, like, a parade celebrated by them from the humans, because they saved the day, and Optimus asks, was this what being a hero was like in your day, Ratchet? And Ratchet just sits there solemnly and says, the Decepticons didn't leave us much to cheer about. And that really hit me, like, how brutal their war is. This implied how devastating it was.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, he doesn't see the Great War as something to be celebrated.
Right, he knows the tragedy it is.
Yeah, and yeah, that's why I really love Animated Ratchet. So, Jeffrey Combs, cool guy, definitely had a lot to live up to with the Prime Ratchet. I really like him. He does have a good character arc.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I definitely see him as more funnier than the other Autobots.
Yeah.
Because he's the cynical old man.
Yeah, he's also played a bit comedic at times.
Went out for a bit. What I missed? Oh, he put Optimus on double S rank.
Yep.
And Cliffjumper made A+. We're starting the Autobot Shadow Link.
Yep.
Right now we're on Ratchet.
Corey also did
Count
Dooku,
Dooku
Cad
and Cad
Bane.
Bane.
He was also Zeus and Hugo Strange.
Yeah, Corey Burton's a great voice actor.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He's also a Transformers veteran voice actor,
Yeah.
so yeah, of course he would do good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really loved Animated Ratchet a lot, and Combs had a lot to compete with for me to win me over, but he did eventually.
Yeah.
I love them both. They're both kind of the same. So.
Right.
Where would you want to rank Ratchet then, Wolf?
I'd say S or A+.
Oh, I might put him on S then.
Okay.
Behind or in front of Jack?
Probably behind Jack, actually.
Okay, yeah, Ratchet is S rank for sure. He was great. Definitely had the greatest redemption arc, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was cool. Jeffrey Combs is always awesome.
Alright.
So yeah, Ratchet is still awesome in this show, definitely.
Yeah.
Alright, who next? The Scout, the bulky one, their favorite motorcycle.
I want to save Arcee for last, so let's go through some of the others.
Alright, let's do Bumblebee then.
Okay.
He's the marketable one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly because of the movie.
Yeah, Bumblebee. He
Actually,
doesn't have the
animated as
ability
well.
to talk because Michael Bay's movies, basically. His voice is lost. He's talking through radio and beeps. Bumblebee doesn't really have too much character because he's the voiceless one.
Yeah.
He got some arcs and episodes that focused on him, of course, but I did not get too attached to him. I always think Bumblebee is overrated, honestly.
Same. And then I think that also kind of hurt more with me when they do the fake out death with him in the final season. Actually, I think it's the finale because then it's the movie.
But wait, before that, we do have one episode before that. This one is where Bumblebee loses his T-Cog, the transformation organ. It's like this is when Starscream and Mech team up. They laid a trap, and Bumblebee loses the ability to transform, and he feels useless to the team, and this gives him PTSD, and we learn how he lost his voice box. he was a scout, and Megatron basically tortured him when he wouldn't talk, so he relinquished him of his voice box as a way to help him with that.
As a karmic punishment.
And yeah, Bumblebee was left for dead. Ratchet tried saving him, and Ratchet feels extremely guilty because he couldn't save his voice. And we find out Bumblebee is trying to get his T-Cog to prevent, like, history from repeating itself because he can't transform. He can't even, like, bring out weapons from his hands, like how all the Transformers do.
Right.
And he's, like, struggling to fight Starscream and Mech. They eventually get it back. Like, Starscream, like, sets the T-Cog on fire, basically. He, like, shoots it, and when he's trying to bargain with Bumblebee, he shoots it, Bumblebee gets it. Ratchet, this time, is actually able to pull through and salvage it.
Yep.
And Bumblebee gets his transformation ability, and he basically communicates to Ratchet that he never blamed him for losing his voice. And this is, like, the first time he actually got character, and we see his relationship with the bots, that he feels like he has to be important to the team. Because I guess he's supposed to be the kid of the group.
He's, probably the younger one.
Like, he's supposed to be younger one, and he's trying to prove he's still worthwhile. Then it isn't until season 3 where he gets some character again.
Yeah.
He gets a new paint job. I remember that.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, he got, like, a more black on him.
Yeah.
Now he looks more like a bee.
Yeah.
And basically, they wanted to sell you new toys, kids. It was pretty pointless, but yeah, they gave him a new look. He's like camouflage bee now.
Yep.
And this is where we get to his death, where he's like trying to get to Optimus and give him the super sword. He jumps across like the huge portal that's supposed to terraform the Earth, and Megatron shoots him dead. It's in this dramatic slow-mo. The emotional music plays. Everyone stops fighting to look on in
you get
shock.
the reaction shots.
Yeah, like even Arcee and Starscream mid-fight and struggle are looking at it.
Yeah.
Then he dies and falls into the Transmetal pit.
Yep.
And we believe he dies, but then, spoiler alert, nope, he got a fake out death and he kills Megatron.
And he can talk again.
Yeah, and he's voiced by Will Friedle, Batman Beyond. And Lion-O from the anime Thundercats.
Yeah.
Yeah, he finally gets his voice back and he's voiced by Will Friedle. And Bumblebee saves the day and finally gets his happy ending.
Yeah.
And then he gets a lousy spin-off in Robots in Disguise.
And also the movie.
Yeah, the movie he got to do a lot more too, because he could talk.
Right.
Yeah, the Return of Unicron.
Yeah, and I really do not like that. Not only that he lived, but also that he talks again.
Yeah, honestly, I actually would have praised the show if they kept him dead.
Yeah.
It would have been a sad scene, and Optimus could have been the one to kill Megatron.
Right. I also feel like he doesn't add a whole lot.
Right, he's there because kids like him.
Exactly.
Because he was popular in the Michael Bay movies, and I've always felt Bumblebee was overrated. He is not one of my favorite Autobots.
Yeah, you also have to blame Transformers Animated for it, because there he was another major character.
Yeah, but in Animated he also talked, too. That was one thing. He got more character.
Yep.
Will Friedle was Batman Beyond. Red Robin and Batman Ninja. Russ in Law and Order. Fang in Teen Titans 2003. Yeah, Lion-O, I said that. And he was Ken Tennyson.
Yep.
Badassatron. That was a joke from the new movie.
Okay.
Bumblebee, Badassatron. Okay, where would you put Prime Bumblebee then?
I'm gonna put B.
Yeah, appropriately, B.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, we're not huge fans of Bumblebee.
Nah.
He's the cute kid character.
Yeah, and his relationship with Raph is neat and all, but it really is just, like, set from the beginning.
Right, it's not explored.
Exactly. They just kind of accept each other, and that's fine.
Yeah, sorry, folks. You're not dealing with Bumblebee Simps in this.
Shadow Link after Green, I'm really that big into Bumblebee like the other Autobots.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I always found Bumblebee overrated.
Yeah.
It's like, it's because he's in the Michael Bay movies.
Yeah.
And he's always marketed.
Right, he's a fine character, but they definitely push him to the front too much.
Yeah, he's the cute kid appeal character is what he's always been, and I never even liked him that much in the 80s show, too.
Oh,
I don't know, he just doesn't do anything for me. I didn't even love him that much as a kid getting into Transformers.
Okay.
All right.
No, I'm not going to say his name and replace it with P. God.
Sick of that joke.
Even though I've only done it like once, I know it was on Final Destination or whatever.
Speaking of B's, let's do Bulkhead.
Okay.
All right, so Bulkhead, voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson in one of his 50 roles.
Yeah.
Bulkhead is the tough guy, the big guy, the wrecker, the guy who's good at breaking stuff, beating up bad guys.
Yep.
And Miko's guardian, which unfortunately leads to a lot of them bonding.
Yeah, where he becomes very overprotective of her.
Okay, so Bulkhead is a character I've never really loved that much in this show because, I don't know, he just felt like that generic archetype.
Exactly.
He's the big tough guy. He's tough, but he has a
gentle
heart of
giant,
gold.
basically, yeah.
Gentle giant. He's got a soft side. He actually cares for his friends. He's got some decent funny moments too, though. Because he's the dumb one.
I also like him breaking all Ratchet stuff, as said earlier.
Yeah, again, controversial opinion, but I prefer Transformers animated Bulkhead.
Yeah.
The one voiced by Patrick Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a lot more character focus because he was also a gentle giant, but he was actually proving himself in that show. We find out the animated Bulkhead was actually a scientist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a big twist. He's like so good at being a wrecker and fighting, but he actually wanted to be an engineer. He was a space engineer and he had science skills, and he actually showed he had like more persona underneath his tough facade. And I kind of like that more. This Bulkhead does not have that, and that's kind of the problem.
Yeah.
He doesn't have much of a character arc. His most important role is when he almost dies. Like, when they're hunting for relics, Bulkhead gets shot and wounded and is almost dying. Ratchet manages to heal him, but he spends a portion, like, handicapped. He's afraid. This is when Smokescreen comes in, and he basically fears Smokescreen is going to replace him.
Yeah.
This was a part of his art. Like, Smokescreen's the new guy, and of course he's physically fit now.
Yeah.
And Bulkhead's still, like, healing. He's, like, in physical therapy, kind of.
Yeah.
He's trying to walk again. Like, he almost dies, and he undergoes this crisis where he thinks he's not useful to the team anymore. He's dying. Then he eventually gets his groove back where he helps step in and fights Silas.
Yeah.
Yeah, he beats Silas's arse and basically comes back in full shape, full swing, and back to his happy bruiser with a soft center self. He had a rivalry with Breakdown, but I never found that interesting because Breakdown has the same problem. He's also just the big guy who smashes stuff. Like, he and Breakdown were rivals since the war. He's a wrecker, Breakdown's a killing machine. They're both the tough guys. They both fight. One episode I did like Bulkhead is where he and Arcee are accidentally magnetized together.
Yeah.
I was like, it's funny because he's so huge, Arcee can't even walk. She's like glued to his back.
Yeah, exactly. And their fighting styles are the complete opposite.
Because she's like a ninja, more stealthy and flexible, and he's a huge boulder.
Right.
He's the big guy. He's the mighty glacier. He's like...
Yeah.
He's like fist fighting, and I love that Arcee can't get a hit on Arachnid face punches because he's like swinging.
I also like his friendship with Wheeljack.
I liked Bulkhead more in Transformers Animated. Oh yeah, preaching to the choir, Shadowlink.
Yep.
Animated Bulkhead is great.
Yeah.
Look up the scientific name for duck. Now thanks. Say his name, but released with a P.
Yeah, I already did that. Don't.
Bulkhead?
No, it was on Bumblebee.
Oh.
Don't.
Okay.
I don't want to give those comments attention.
I have to agree.
I'm
Not
sorry.
really that big into Bumblebee. Okay, read that one.
Okay, and then he voiced Mr. Dinkles and Turtle Band together, Lucius Fox and Batman Gotham Knights, Road Peg and G.I. Joe and Turok and Owl House. Kevin Michael Richardson's been around for a while.
He was like in everything, man. He was all over the place. He's basically just doing his Panthro voice in this.
Yeah.
But Panthro was also a much better character because he had more to do in the show.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, Bulkhead, I don't hate him, but I also don't love him. That was
his character's fine. My favorite moment of his is when we have the fake Wheeljack episode in like season 1, and where he's grilling him on like
except like he's not acting like my friend, and he forgot like a detail.
Well, because the detail was that Bulkhead wasn't at the battle.
I wasn't there.
Yeah. It's that this clone has all the information, but the thing is that he
doesn't have the experience he had with his friend. That was the thing. And he figures that out. That's like one of his few smart moments.
Right.
I do love the Scraplets, the little guys. I
want to get to that when we talk about the Scraplets, because I see those little boogers there.
Right, it's funny because he's freaking out and crying and doing his Cleveland Junior screams.
Yeah.
That That was his funniest moment. He does come around at the end where he acts as bait and lures the Scraplets out the portal to the Arctic.
We gotta save that for the Scraplets, though.
Yeah, okay.
The Scraplets have nothing. They need that episode.
And I didn't even think his vehicle mode was that cool. He's like a Hummer in this version.
Yeah, he's a big truck.
It's like, in the animated show, he's a SWAT truck, which was cooler.
Yeah.
All right, where would you put Bulkhead?
C above Jack's mom.
C, really? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, we'll put Bulkhead on C. He was okay. I know a lot of people love him, but I don't know. We're not too huge on him either.
I'm partial to him.
Yeah, I prefer Transformers animated Bulkhead because he actually had personality.
Kevin Michael Richardson got to voice the Shredder in 2012 TMNT, which is pretty awesome.
He was good in that.
Yeah.
All right, let's do his bro then, Wheeljack.
All right.
Wheeljack was much better.
Yeah, he's a fun character. He doesn't get a whole lot though, but they use him well, I think.
They used him sparingly, but he had more of an arc. He's like slowly becoming a team member, basically. Yeah. He's a lone wolf turned friend.
Right.
He's like the lone wolf who joins the pack.
Yeah. Wheeljack
is Bulkhead's bro from the Wreckers. He's also a brute, a fighter guy. He has like these cool twin swords.
Yeah, I love
He's
that.
Definitely a swordsman, a fencer. That was his skill. He transforms into like this cool race car, and ironically, this was very different. In most shows, Wheeljack is actually a scientist.
Huh.
He's actually an inventor. He's kind of this Albert Einstein-esque character in the most Transformers shows.
Interesting.
They remade him into a wrecker because he had a very iconic design.
Yeah.
That was the thing. He has like his headlights are on the sides of his head, but that's supposed to represent when he had an idea.
Okay.
He's like Bulkhead's bro, like an imposter kind of steals his place in his first episode. He's like held prisoner, but we show Wheeljack's actually much smarter because he could actually weasel his way out. He like escapes Decepticons every time he gets captured.
Yeah, he's very crafty.
He's a crafty guy, yeah, definitely. He's definitely an experienced warrior. He was kind of the brains of Bulkhead's outfit.
Yeah.
He was definitely the smart guy, and he loved, like, planting bombs. That was also his thing. He, like, had explosives. He used trick bombs all the time on this show. Nearly blows up Starscream many times.
Yeah.
He escapes. He kind of disappears for most of the first season. Doesn't come back till the second season, where Bulkhead is injured.
Yeah.
Then he vows revenge. He also helps them hunt artifacts at one point. Like, he and Ratchet form a begrudging odd couple alliance where they have to fight Soundwave for their weapon.
Yeah.
And Wheeljack actually volunteers himself as the distraction because, like, Ratchet is, like, operating on Laserbeak, planting the turducken.
Yeah.
And basically, Wheeljack has this really epic fight with Soundwave. This is my favorite fight with him, because Soundwave is awesome, too.
Yeah.
They have, like, this really cool fight. He's using swords. He scratches Soundwave's, like, faceplate, but, like, only barely. And eventually, he gets overpowered because Soundwave gets his hands on the weapon. And it's, like, of course, a sound shooter. It, like, shoots vibrations at him, and he beats Wheeljack, and Wheeljack warns Ratchet that he bought him his time, and yeah, he gets the turducken trap, and without fail. And he tries to avenge Bulkhead's demise. After Bulkhead got almost killed, he was like sniped by Hardshell.
Right.
He goes on his revenge, and he and Miko actually bond. I think they had much more chemistry than Bulkhead did.
Yeah, that was brought up during the Miko talk.
Yeah, he did. Makeshift, you fool! That was the imposter.
Okay.
Makeshift. He was voiced by James Horan, who voices Jack Ryder from the Arkham series.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, definitely a huge upgrade.
It's also Professor Kazam and Godzilla, and also
the series.
Dr. Flegg and What New Scooby-Doo.
Oh, we gotta hear him then.
Yeah.
Wheeljack basically, he gets full character development in the third season, where after he comes back when the Autobots are being attacked by the Decepticons, they blow up their base, and Wheeljack gets captured again, but of course, Starscream's an idiot, and he outsmarts him. Like, he's almost taken to, like, an execution. They were, like, gonna chuck him into, like, a pit of lava or something.
Jeez.
But Wheeljack uses his craftiness to escape, and he fights back, and he meets up with Bulkhead and Miko, because they apparently had, like, a certain spot where they meet up in case things go haywire.
Okay.
And he gets decent character arc where Ultra Magnus comes in, and he acts as the leader while Optimus Prime is MIA.
Yeah.
And Wheeljack doesn't like Ultra Magnus, and he spends his arc basically the two getting to know each other and becoming friends and respecting each other. Which I actually liked, because Wheeljack actually got some focus finally.
Yeah.
He doesn't respect Ultra Magnus, because Ultra Magnus is old military, field commander and armchair commander. Basically, he was Optimus' second in command during the Cybertron War until he disappeared during the fights. Like, Wheeljack doesn't like him, Ultra Magnus doesn't like him in turn because of his loose cannon ways.
Yeah. They're definite opposites.
They were polar opposites. They don't become friends until they're stopping the Predacon clones. Basically, they find the Shockwave's Predacon lab. They fight them, then the Predaking comes in and reveals he can transform, and Ultra Magnus, like, nearly sacrifices himself to save Wheeljack, and this is where Ultra Magnus gets his hand, like, shattered. Like, the Predaking stomps on it, basically, and he gets his ass thrashed and almost killed, but Wheeljack comes back and saves him last minute before the bombs go off and nuke the Predacon lab. Yeah. And basically, Ultra Magnus gets, like, a new hand, and Wheeljack finally shows him respect, basically, after this, and they become bros. Then Wheeljack is basically a side character from the movie.
Yeah.
So, where would you want to put Wheeljack?
Probably B.
B, really? I think he had a decent character. I like that Bulkhead calls him Jackie.
Yeah.
It's Jackie!
Yeah.
Arcee's like, so who's the boyfriend? Yeah, a lot of people shipped Wheeljack and Bulkhead. Yeah, how
can you not?
They
Realistically.
They were bros.
Exactly.
They're bros.
They're friends.
You can be friends and not want to romance
Impossible. Them. Two men existing near each other.
Oh, James Horn was Scar from The Lion King and spin-off Disney media. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's a replacement voice actor. Okay.
Basically, yeah.
So you want to put him on B?
I could see him in A.
Like, he almost comes close to A. He has cool fights.
Yeah, I would definitely above Bumblebee.
Yeah, definitely, because he had character. Alright, we'll put Wheeljack on B. Alright, since you want to save Arcee for last. I'll read some comments. Take your time. You mean like last on the vote poll or last on the Autobots? Hang on, Wolf's recharging. So yeah, if you're new to the tier list, here we go. Optimus is where he belongs, up at top. Jack and Ratchet are appropriately S. Silas, cool human villain, A+. Cliffjumper, A+. Raphael and Agent Fowler, they're A. They're pretty decent. Not the all-time loved characters, but definitely good. Wheeljack and Bumblebee are B. Definitely above average. We really liked them. They had their moments, but they're not our favorite characters. Bulkhead and June Darby both C. They're okay. They fulfilled their role just fine, but we didn't fall in love with them. And dead last is Miko, who's the worst character of the series. Alright, just catching up on comments. Certainly better than what they did to him in Dark of the Moon. Oh yeah, Wheeljack in Dark of the Moon, who's executed by Soundwave while pathetically begging for his life. I hate Michael Bay so much. Yeah, if you don't know, Dark of the Moon, Wheeljack is another character Michael Bay butchered by making this scatterbrained Doc Brown kind of scientist who basically goes out like a little wussy boy. I think they're gonna kill us, B. And we can resolve this like decent chaps, and he's just shot dead while Soundwave laughs maniacally.
Really?
Yeah, it's so pathetic.
That sounds awful.
It is. It's Michael Bay's Transformers. What do you expect?
Okay.
Plus, he also didn't have much character.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's go with the last wrecker, Ultra Magnus. There he is with the hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ultra Magnus, voiced by Darkseid, Michael Ironside.
Oh, nice.
This is a character who kind of shows up very late in the game. He's in the last season where the Autobots are scattered. He finds Arcee and Jack first, where he finally lands on Earth finding Optimus' signal after all this time, and he steps in, and this gives us kind of some hope because he was Optimus's second-in-command during the war days, basically, until they got separated. He's old-fashioned military leader, no nonsense, very strict. He's more of an armchair commander in this show who's getting his hands dirty.
Yeah.
He steps in and he temporarily becomes leader with Optimus missing. He unites all the Autobots and stages the attack on Decepticon Tower, basically. Yeah. And to his credit, they do get a few decent hits in, but ultimately he loses. And as Megatron puts it, Ultra Magnus, you are no Optimus Prime.
Yeah. He's stepping in to fill a role that he can't possibly fill.
Yeah, and we're supposed to believe he's badass because Michael Ironside's a badass. Griselda! That's right. Most evil sorcerer.
Yep.
Michael Ironside does a pretty decent job, but he's like
fine.
Always playing military guys and cops when he's not Darkseid. I thought he did okay. Ultra Magnus, I never really loved him, even back on animated or the movie.
I thought that it was fine in animated.
Really, he was just Odin in animated. He had the Thunder Hammer in that show.
Oh yeah, he got the hammer here too.
Yeah, he's supposed to be an elite commander. He's more of a tactician than he is a fighter. But he's supposed to be the founder of the Wreckers, and that's why he and Wheeljack apparently don't get along.
Okay.
Because he never approved of the Wreckers having, like, wacky fun antics and all along the way. He was, like, a straightforward military commander. Right. Basically, his arc is he's lightening up. He's slowly accepting the Autobots and their new style here on Earth.
He has to realize that leading is a give-and-take relationship with them.
Right, and even Optimus kind of, like, slowly eases him into it.
Yeah.
He takes over. He slowly learns he's not as fit to lead as he thought he was. He can't fulfill Optimus's shoes.
Yeah.
And Megatron beats him. He puts up a decent fight at least, but he's definitely not the leader they needed.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of Tigra from 2011 Thundercats.
Right, or he thought he was better than Lion-O.
Exactly, and then when push comes to shove, he cannot deliver.
Right, he's struggling. He realizes how hard being a leader is, and that's kind of what Ultra Magnus does.
Yeah.
His most important part after that is where he's trying to become the second in command again. Then he leads the raid against the Predacons, and this is where his leadership is kind of falling out the window. The Predaking is beating them, and then he tries to sacrifice himself by buying Wheeljack and Bulkhead time to escape, and this is where he loses his hand, basically. He's like the first that suffers a major injury. The Predaking, like, stomps his hand, and he gets, like, a new claw hand, kind of. It looked pretty cool, actually. It's like this weird claw.
It's probably based off of, like, real, not amputee, real prosthetics.
Yeah, kind of like how human have prosthetic arms that replace their limbs.
One of the early one was, like, a more claw kind of one.
Right, and this is, like, where he, like, turns around and realizes that he has to do things Optimus's way, and he actually has to care for the bots as family over soldiers.
Right.
And Wheeljack finally pays him a salute, shows him respect, and this kind of ends his character arc, and he's on the background for a long time.
Yeah.
And even in the finale movie, he's, like, there for half of it, but he gets injured by the Predacon zombies, and he's, like, in a coma for the rest of the finale.
Okay.
So, yeah, Ultra Magnus was an okay character. He was obviously introduced to sell toys.
Yeah.
Because they needed a new guy.
Never was that big into Ultra Magnus in any of the Transformers. Not terrible, but not that great. Just okay. Yeah, same here.
Same here. If you remember,
it really hurts that it was introduced so late.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that even he was a replacement character even in the movie. Like, he's introduced in the first animated movie for the first time ever, where he's Optimus's, like, protege, basically, and we're tricked into believing when Optimus dies that the Matrix was going to be passed on to him, but same story, Ultra Magnus is not chosen to be leader. It was actually Rodimus Prime, and he basically eats, like, his slice of humble pie and accepts Hot Rod as their leader and becomes his second in command now. And yeah, I've never been a fan of Ultra Magnus all that much.
Yeah, he's fine.
It's like, he's fine. I thought he was good in animated, because he's Odin in that. He's the wise elder. I thought Jeff Bennett was a better Ultra Magnus than Michael Ironside, because Michael Ironside didn't get to do much. That was kind of the problem.
So we're going to put him in C or D?
I put him on C, at least.
Yeah. He's fine.
I'll put him above June. Should we put him above Bulkhead?
I think he's fine there.
Yeah, he's fine. I put him above June because Michael Ironside's awesome.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, we're almost... I need to use the bathroom now.
Right.
We'll get to Smokescreen next.
Okay. Oh, good. The character I don't really know. I'm slowly piecing together. How fun. So, for any newcomers, let me go over the list again. I see there's 8 of you in here. We got, of course, Optimus Prime at the top, followed by Jack, Darby, and then Ratchet in the S tier. A+ is the leader of Mech, Silas, and then Cliffjumper, the first death, and I still think the only actual death of the Earth group Transformers. A tier, we got Fowler and Raph. B tier, Jackie, and then Bumblebee. C, we got Bulkhead, now added Ultra Magnus, and then June Darby. And then all the way in E, we got Miko, because Kat hates her. I understand Kat's feelings towards Miko. I just don't have the same vitriol. Welcome back. Oh, good, much quicker than me. I think we all know who'll be joining Optimus in SS tier later. Yeah, it's obvious who's gonna be up there.
All right, let's do Smokescreen, the newbie.
Yeah.
Wolf doesn't have too much memory of this character.
I'm slowly piecing it together.
Nolan North, bro.
Of course.
Smokescreen is an elite guard academy robot who basically worked with Alpha Trion in the archives. During the war, Smokescreen took a cryostasis pod when they were fleeing the planet. Then he was lost in space for quite some time until he crash landed on Earth. Both the Decepticons and Autobots try and get his pod. They find this new guy, Smokescreen, who comes out, and Smokescreen is kind of like Hot Rod from the Transformers movie. He's the cocky, hotshot, over-the-top, loves to have fun, always the Optimus kind of robot. Kind of what Bumblebee should have been, but yeah. Smokescreen joins the Autobots. They're a bit skeptical of him at first because they rarely find Transformers in this show.
Yeah.
And he slowly but surely, proves himself. He's the new guy on the team. He's slowly, learning the ropes, bonding with them, slowly rising. He gets a bit of an ego because with his help, he starts actually helping them succeed in missions they struggled with. They find more artifacts. They get more victories against the Decepticons.
Yeah.
He actually bonds with Jack. I actually like their friendship a lot. Jack shows him the ropes and becomes with him for a while. And when they run into the idiot bully again, Smokescreen actually convinces him to get payback, and they put a dumpster over the bully's car and dump all the trash on him. They bond. They're hanging out. They become total bros. Okay. But it isn't until he gets a slip up where he wants to bring Jack on a mission with him to show him kicking butt. And Jack begrudgingly tags along this time, but then things go wrong. Smokescreen tries to take Megatron alone.
Jeez.
They get into a fight. Jack is almost killed by an Insecticon. Then Arcee and Bulkhead luckily show up and save the day. And Arcee finally chews Smokescreen out and calls him out and tells him that this isn't a game, and tells him to basically wise his skid plate up. Yeah. That this isn't a game, and kind of deflates his ego finally, because Smokescreen kind of loses against Megatron, of course. But one thing, luckily Optimus shows up and saves them both too. And Smokescreen has this guilt, and he runs away. We find out that there was a reason he came to this planet, because Alpha Trion planted one of the cyber keys on him. Okay. And that's why he was forced out in the cryostasis pod, because this is the key, the final key that will activate the lock on Cybertron, and he did not want the Decepticons to get their hands on it. Okay. So, Smokescreen, he does get captured by the cons. They get the last key, but Smokescreen gets them back, and he gets his trademark weapon, the phase shifter. This allows him to go through walls. Right. He gets the ability to walk through walls. He traps Knockout in the wall when he tries dissecting him. He finally steals the Decepticon keys, and the Autobots at last get their advantage back. Yeah. Then he sort of like finally starts maturing. He's embracing the Autobots, listening to orders more, slowly becoming their friends. But he apologizes to Arcee and Jack for being reckless. And then he kind of becomes a normal teammate until the finale, where they lose the lock, and then the Decepticons find their base and blow it up. Smokescreen used the phase shifter to go back and save Optimus after he was shot.
Yeah.
And basically, he brings Optimus into a cave where he's trying to help him heal and recover, while he's doing, like, recon, because the cave is very close to the Decepticon tower. Smokescreen is finally, like, realizing that the hardships of war and losing for once. Basically, he's having, like, this crisis because he wants Optimus to be okay, and Optimus is dying and considers passing the matrix of leadership onto him, because he believes Smokescreen should take over as leader. And if this wasn't obvious, Smokescreen was kind of used as a red herring for Optimus Prime, who actually got the matrix in the movie.
Yep.
And I was kind of actually hoping he would be Optimus. Yeah. I love Optimus for sure, but because we spend a decent amount of the half of season 2 with him, Smokescreen actually got character development. And I thought it would have been cool if they actually did make him Rodimus.
Right, it would have also been a little redemption of that character, because I know Hot Rod Rodimus isn't really liked.
There's hope for you yet, rookie. Yeah, that's one of the lines they said.
I thought so, yeah. Certainly a better chewing out than Glimmer and Frost and She-Ra Princes of Power.
Well, that show was awful.
Yeah.
I would say a better chewing out than Starlight Glimmer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Smokescreen, his arc is basically he's maturing.
Exactly.
He's accepting to be a real soldier.
Yeah, it's realizing that myth and legend about war is not the same as the actual war itself.
Yeah, Nolan North does a pretty decent voice for him.
Nolan North does a decent voice in general.
Right. I actually didn't recognize him because he didn't use his Nathan Drake voice for once.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I was hoping he'd be Rodimus, but no, he decides he steals the Forge and uses the last of its energy to rebuild Optimus.
Yeah.
And he builds him bigger and better than ever. Smokescreen does get a paint job, and he looks like his 80s counterpart now with his. He's like yellow and blue now instead of his white and blue here.
Yeah.
That's how he originally
white
looked.
And blue.
Yeah, he gets a paint job, and now he looks like his 80s counterpart. Then, basically, he's kind of the fun tag-along kid for the rest of the series, all the way up to the movie.
Oh, wow.
He at least doesn't get incapacitated in the movie. He does use his phase shifter again. There's a funny callback where Knockout steals it from him and traps him in the wall.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. But, yeah, Smokescreen is basically the kid soldier who grows up.
Okay.
I'm sure you don't remember him, but
yeah,
where would you
exactly.
consider?
That's the problem. I mean, based off this description, I could see him in the A-ish rank, A plus.
I might put him in A plus because I liked him. Nolan North is definitely fun as him. I will put him above Cliffjumper. Yeah, A plus for Smokescreen. Really liked him. He was one of the best new Transformers they introduced.
Yeah.
He really spiced up the team dynamic, and he had a decent character arc. He's not S rank because I wished he was Rodimus. We could have actually had a good Rodimus. Yep. Oh, Emily finally showed up.
Yeah, I was about to say hello, but you were talking.
Let's say it then.
Well, unfortunately, I think the moment's passed.
It's Wolfen time. Hey, Emily, you just missed it. We put Smokescreen on A+. We're in the Autobots right now.
Yep.
So, do you want to do Arcee or the Decepticons?
Let's do Arcee. Let's finish off the Autobots.
All right, let's finish the Autobots with Arcee, who I think everyone agrees is double S rank.
Yeah.
Arcee is awesome.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Should we put her above Optimus?
No.
Okay.
No. As good as his character is,
Arcee is the best character of the show.
It's what you really have. You can't just say that, but like, because the biggest thing about her is that in all the other media before this, she was treated how like female characters usually were. They were supportive. They were not the main focus.
She was the team mom, the heart.
Exactly. And like the MacGuffin in animated where she has the codes.
Right. She had her memory lost, Wolf.
Well, yeah. But like here, they completely flip that. She is no longer the medic. She's not a teacher. She is a fighter, an assassin practically. She strikes fast and hits hard.
This is the coolest version of Arcee ever. She is amazing. They redeemed her so much after the 80s show just made her the girl.
Yeah, it's amazing how much she's transformed in this.
My personal waifu material. Oh, yeah.
Same, yes.
Yeah, Arcee is waifu material.
Yeah, of course, there's also the ship with Jack.
Yeah, she got shipped with Jack.
I mean, how could you not, really? Their bond is, like, one of the best written bonds.
I'd do her if she wouldn't crush me to death. But
Yeah. Also, she's a motorcycle. That's just hot.
Yeah, they kind of took Prowl from Transformers Animated and remade that into like a more female version.
Kind of, but they also gave her the trauma.
Yeah, Arcee is cool. She has PTSD and she's the cynical soldier, but has a heart deep down because she's a tsundere.
Right.
Arcee is basically getting her optimism back.
Yeah.
She is the depressed, cynical soldier who is destroyed by war, who is not in a happy place, but she still fights the good fight. She treats the Autobots like her family. She is not at first open to bonding with Jack at all.
Yeah, well, yeah, because, again, she follows along with the trope of where, they had someone they loved and cared for, and then that got taken away, so they close themselves off from the rest of the world as best they can in order to not feel that pain once more.
Yeah, Arcee's a defrosting ice queen.
Yeah.
She becomes nicer as the series goes on.
Yeah.
Without losing her badass side, of course. So Arcee gets the most character development in the entire show.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, she gets a lot of arcs. She has her own arch enemy in this show.
Yep, with Arachnid.
It's like, I think it's safe to say, like, if Optimus wasn't #1, she would be the best character ever.
Probably.
Arcee is awesome too. She's also like a total badass, despite being the smallest. She's got her ninja skills.
Right. I also love the flashback episode with her with Arachnid.
Oh, her and Arachnid. Yeah, we see she was a prisoner of war.
Yeah.
POW. Arachnid took her to like her death chamber and was torturing her.
Yeah.
And she murders her partner like right in front of her eyes to get her to talk.
That so good. The acting incredible.
Yeah, Summerlee Montano is her voice actress, and she does a very good job.
Yeah, ironic that the voice actress voices the Raptor handler from Chaos Theory.
From Camp Cretaceous. Okay. Absolutely, yeah, she is double S rank. She is top tier. Really love her. And yeah, her rivalry with Arachnid, who scarred her in war, basically. Right. She tortured her and killed her partner. I think she and Tailgate were a couple.
I can see that one. Yeah.
They're definitely like a bit flirty, and she's like most attached to him because she's freaking out when he's getting tortured then killed. Yeah. Arachnid impales him, but she's saved by Bumblebee and Cliffjumper, who take her, but she's totally scarred for life. She's like, has a lot of PTSD, and she's working through that throughout the millennia of war.
Yeah, doesn't help that she later starts to open up, I think, to Cliffjumper, and then he also gets taken away from her.
Yeah, he gets taken away, and then she finds his zombie corpse. He dies again in front of her. Then she's partnered up with Jack, who she, of course, doesn't like at first. Yeah. Then she starts opening up to him. My favorite moment with her that's actually funny is the racing episode where the idiot bully's trying to pick a fight with Jack and race him, and she doesn't want to fight him until he insults her.
Right.
He calls her like ugly bike. Yeah. And it's like, that's it. He's going down.
Her comedy is pretty good too.
They gave her character. She's like more than just her one note.
Exactly. She's more than a supporter.
Yeah, she actually agrees to the race because he dissed her. They have the race, and then she actually goes the extra mile to fool the bully into thinking he's got the lead, and said, oh, beating him's not enough, Jack. You want to make him cry. Yeah. Then she, like, speeds up and zooms past him. Yeah. And she and Jack are, like, slowly but surely very bonding. Yeah. They become, like, a lot of people ship them together. I mean, yeah. It's like, I can definitely see that.
They sound like to each other.
They're like flirting and whatnot. And there's actually plot points where Arcee's mistaken for his girlfriend. Like the mom and the other girl, Sierra, mistake her for like dating Jack because he's the girl spending time with him and always on the phone with him since he uses her communicator.
Are we simping over a robot that transformed into a motorcycle?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, I mean,
She has the coolest vehicle mode, too.
Yeah, I also just always love motorcycles.
It's like, you're lucky your paint job's so good, B. If we reverse my colors, I'd be pink.
Yeah.
Get it? Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the reference to the previous Arcees.
Yeah, Arcee turns into a cool motorcycle.
Yeah.
It's got like the coolest vehicle mode.
I think she also has the Does she actually have the only hologram?
She has a hologram, because that's actually a callback to Prowl, because he had a hologram in Animated.
Oh, okay.
He made a hologram of a cop riding him, because he was a cop motorcycle.
Right.
And yeah, basically the vehicles that have these open driver seats can make holograms of humans
in order to blend in better. Yeah.
Right. And she has the cool motorcyclist chick.
I mean, motorcycles are the coolest vehicle mode, to be honest. Yeah.
And, I mean, Joker from Mass Effect simps over Edie in the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know, but that's because Edie's hot and she's voiced by Black Cat. So yeah. Yeah, Arcee's cool, and yeah, she finally gets some closure. She beats Arachnid. She forms a rivalry with Starscream because he stupidly exposes he killed Cliffjumper.
Yeah.
Then she's finally gets some control over her anger problems. She accepts Jack as her partner in the Arachnid episode because she reveals she doesn't get close to people because she's lost so many.
Exactly, yeah.
And basically Jack kind of proves himself and during his maturing arc too, and they become the bestest of buddies. She has her little "don't make me hunt you down," which is what she used to say as a threat to him.
Yep.
They become friends. Arcee's definitely the mature one of the group, and basically the show really loves shitting on her when the other Autobots act stupid.
Yeah.
Did you know about this? No. Probably. They're racing again, aren't they? Yeah, Arcee. She has her funny moments because she's also snarky too.
Yeah,
she's kind of like Razor from Green Lantern, the animated series, in that way.
Kinda.
They're both the sour, snarky ones.
Yeah.
They do good, but they're not afraid to voice their opinion.
Right.
And she's got cool weapons. She's got guns and blade arms.
Yeah.
She slashes people and she's stealthy.
Yep.
Always sneaking around. She gets the drop on a lot of Decepticons.
Yep. And
she gets a lot of the coolest fight scenes. They do so much for her animation.
Well, yeah, because there's so much you can do with a fast character.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna disagree. She is double S rank.
Yeah. Would have been nice if Optimus had a hologram of Peter Cole in an animated form like he did in that one comic.
Oh, yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah.
Alright, so I guess we're gonna have to go to the Decepticons now. Let's do the Scraplet then.
Okay, fine.
The little guy.
Yeah, the unaligned little bastards.
You don't remember? The Scraplets are these little cute, adorable robots are basically piranhas.
Yeah, they're piranhas, termites, they're pests.
They're pests. They're Cybertronian pests. They look cute and adorable. The human kids find them and think they're cute pets, and then when they meet metal, they turn psychotic and vicious.
And tear through it.
They tear through it. They fight like the Autobots. They find them in this probe that they were kind of leeching off of.
Yeah.
And they could stop. They were frozen in place because the cold is what kills them.
Yeah.
They can't stand cold temperatures.
Well, extreme cold.
Extreme cold. Yeah, extreme. They get taken to the Autobot base and unfortunately thaw out and go on a rampage. They're eating the base and eating our lovely bots.
Yeah.
And basically going nuts, tearing the place apart. The Autobots try to figure out ways to stop them, but they keep chewing through wires and stuff and foiling their schemes, or these were just the scouts and they're replicating.
Yeah, I think it's one of the humans that uses the fire extinguisher and that gives them the...
Yeah, basically the humans finally prove their worth by helping them set up the trap to get them out of here.
Right, especially because also the Scraplets are not really a threat to them. They don't go after humans.
Flying critters, if you will. Yeah, they could also fly.
Yeah.
Which made them scarier. We see they were up on the ceiling all along, and they fly down like swarmers.
Yeah.
They nearly kill the Autobots multiple times. This is where Bulkhead finally conquers his fear by being bait, luring them out to trap. Because Arcee and Optimus are in the Arctic.
Yeah.
They get stranded because they shoot through the wires that hit their transporter.
Right. Yeah. This was a weird A/B episode, right? Because we do get the Arcee Optimus.
Where they're paddling around in Antarctica, freezing to death.
Right. And
they're slowly dying, and Arcee kind of opens up a bit more to Optimus. Yeah. And Optimus maintains hope in his friends. And then Bulkhead lures them out, and there's this cool scene where they're almost gonna get Optimus and Arcee and then freeze and crash into them on impact. They kill them all basically, and then they come back again in a later episode where Arcee and Jack beam to Cybertron. This is where they go to the archives to get the Vector Sigma to recharge Optimus's memory. And The Scraplets are there too. They're basically feeding on dead areas. They're kind of vermin.
Pests,
They're pests. They're eating their. Jack and Arcee are attacked by an Insecticon, and Jack actually tricks the Scraplets into going after the Insecticon. I remember they swarm him and they like fall into an abyss.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. They like kind of show up in here and there, and they come back in the spin-off series. They're just pests. But they're pretty cool and scary minions.
Yeah, they are also hype up the horror with them very effectively.
So basically lure them to somewhere like Antarctica and they'll be taken care of.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, the cold kills them. They were trapped in there because they were frozen in space.
Yeah.
And then they freeze in the Arctic.
Yeah.
All right, where would you put the Scraplets in? And what was that moment you wanted to talk about with them?
Oh no, it was just the episode, really.
Okay.
I love that episode.
But Bulkhead freaking out because he's terrified of them.
Yeah, also, again, they do the horror with them very well.
It's like, I love these. You haven't seen these things, kids. They eat you slowly, optic by optic. They don't even leave your eyes. And they don't kill you first. They're kind of like the velociraptors.
Yeah.
You're still alive while they're eating you.
Yeah.
Where would you rank these then? It's like, they're not exactly characters,
yeah,
but they're fun
They're
villains.
a force of nature, really.
Oh, man, then I might put them in B, honestly.
Above both the other two,
yeah,
honestly.
they're entertaining.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll put the Scraplets on...
Oh, Dave.
Oh, sorry. There. Yeah, sorry. I'll put the Scraplets on B. They are definitely enjoyable. They
like
played
the
up
scarabs
the horror.
from the Mummy. Exactly, like the scarabs from the Mummy, yeah.
I'd say more like the piranhas from Piranha 3D.
They're both.
Okay, so... Now we reach Decepticons.
Okay, if we're starting with the Scraplets, we gotta do Laserbeak next.
Let's do Laserbeak Eject. This is Soundwave's only mini-con in the show.
That was awful. They really should have tried to put the others in.
Laserbeak, who is pretty much just an extension of him.
Exactly, he's just a drone.
Yeah, it doesn't have its personality like in the 80s show or the games.
No.
Laserbeak. This is basically his, like, watcher. He, like, sends it in the sky to follow them like a drone, and it's just an extension of Soundwave, because it implies his persona in there.
Well, yeah, he's the one controlling it.
Right, he's controlling it. He uses it to spy on them. He, like, stalks Starscream with it, making sure he's not doing anything behind his back.
Yeah.
Laserbeak got importance in the Turducken episode.
Right, where they use him to upload the virus into Soundwave.
Yeah, basically hack their computer. They have, like, a fake virus and then the real virus, which actually looked into what the Decepticon intel had. That's, like, its most important episode. My favorite moment with it is when they're tracking down the renegade Autobots on the Lamb, and Laserbeak actually dies. Like, they're following Jack and Arcee, and Jack actually lays a trap at a gas station where he sets it on fire, and Laserbeak's caught in the blast, and Laserbeak actually dies.
Yeah.
It, like, goes offline, they lose a signal, and I was hoping, oh, finally, are we gonna get a new mini-con to replace him?
Nope.
Nope, he just had a second one.
No Ravage, but why? Budget, that's why.
Right,
yeah.
I would have loved to see Rumble, Ravage, Ratbat, and Frenzy.
God, this name's...
yeah, it was the 80s, alright. Where, like, I remember Laserbeak's most successful mission is it captured Agent Fowler in the pilot. He has, like, the Doc Ock tentacles in him, and it's able to shoot down a helicopter, and his wings are, like, sliced enough to slice off the propeller.
Jeez.
Like, this thing was strong, man. Unfortunately, Laserbeak doesn't talk.
It doesn't have a character.
Right? It's a drone.
It's a pet.
It's a pet drone, yeah. Where would you rank it, then? Be our first D?
I could see the D, yeah.
Right. I might put on C because it fulfilled its purpose.
I was also thinking C too, honestly.
Put it above June, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laserbeak Reject. This is a C. Alright, so other cons. Let's do Nemesis Prime because he had like 2 episodes.
Okay.
Nemesis Prime is the mech constructed transformer.
Yeah.
They basically stole all this transformer technology and they found Optimus Prime schematics, and Mech built basically an evil Optimus Prime to do their bidding. Nemesis Prime, who is also voiced by Peter Cullen, even though he doesn't really have character, he's serving Silas.
Yeah.
It's like, it's his own personal battle mecha. The Nemesis Prime basically, his 2-parter is he's going on a rampage and framing Optimus Prime for Mech's terrorism. It's like stealing stuff, doing evil deeds, and For a while, they think Optimus is guilty, and Optimus goes to clear his name. And, oh yeah, that's right, Nemesis was supposed to be in The Last Night in Armada.
Aw.
I like that they use Laserbeak through the extension aspect was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is cool, but he doesn't have a character. That's why he's so low.
Right.
Lol, thons names. Yeah, the mini-cons had funny names.
Yeah.
Get ready to crumble before rumble.
Don't they also have their own mech they, like, combine into?
Yeah, the combiners.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could all transform. There wasn't originally an idea where they could all turn into Soundwave, but that got rejected to make Soundwave his own person.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, basically, in the 80s show, the mini-cons were all his cassette tapes.
Yeah.
He, like, shot them out of his player. That was why he had so many.
Yep.
So Nemesis Prime is basically a lifeless drone who's serving Silas.
Right.
Basically, Optimus Prime has, like, a head-to-head with him, and it's supposed to be this cool because it's Optimus versus Dark Optimus.
Yeah.
Agent Fowler and Prime team up to defeat this evil doppelganger by fighting Silas at the same time. Like, Fowler finds Silas's control room and has a one-on-one, while Optimus manages to take Nemesis while he's not being controlled.
Yeah.
And he basically kills him, shoves him through the building, and it crushes Silas to death, and that's the last we ever see of Nemesis. I thought it would have been smarter if Silas got put into Nemesis's body.
Yeah.
Because that would have made it a bit more fitting, but yeah, basically evil clone of Optimus.
Yeah.
I might put him maybe C or B.
Really?
Where would you put him?
I was thinking D. I don't think there's anything to this guy.
Yeah, for our first D.
It's kind of like the Laserbeak and June dilemma.
Right, it's just a lifeless drone. It fulfilled his purpose.
Yeah,
but
exactly. There's not much to the character.
Yeah, it would have been cool if he got his own free will. Kind of like Thalog from Goliath's
I like
Adventures.
it's fine being its own little guy that's just a minion.
Too, and not the tier list. I know you only watch Justin.
Much easier here. You two, not the tier list. That's fair.
The good evil twin trope.
Yeah.
Armada Nemesis was okay. Yeah. There are actual versions of this character who is an evil living clone, but it was kind of a callback to old Transformers by having him Nemesis Prime. All right, so let's do Hardshell. He's another kind of 2-episode character.
Alright.
Hardshell is an elite Insecticon. He's the only one with a name, basically.
Of course.
He and his Insecticon squad are hired to find another one of the plot power weapons, basically. He fights Bulkhead for Tox-N, an energon that's toxic. It basically has the power for bioweapons. It can kill anything, and he and Bulkhead are like fighting over this thing, and its power is it weakens and kills people. It is poison to Transformers.
Okay.
And Hardshell gets character. He's special guest star David Kaye, who plays Transformers characters in past. He was in Beast Wars as Megatron. He was Optimus Prime in Transformers Animated. And he was Megatron in the old CGI Cybertron shows. He basically uses his Lugnut voice from Transformers Animated, and this is basically Lugnut. He has the same personality. He's a devout fanboy worshipper of Megatron. It's like, I will do anything in the name of glorious Megatron. I will serve you faithful, my lord. Okay. And yeah, basically a wink to past Transformers fans. Basically, he's this big, strong brute. He fights Bulkhead, and we do see he's actually smart because he realizes the Tox-N is weakening Bulkhead. They have this cool fight. He's the only recognizable Insecticon because in the fight, Bulkhead breaks one of his mandibles.
Okay.
So he has only one on the side of his face, and David Kaye's the one who's talking. He was the best voice of Megatron. Definitely walked in the truth. Sadly, no kickback or sharp shot. Oh yeah, Hardshell was also from the Cybertron games.
Oh, okay.
He's like one of the Insecticon minions Shockwave had.
Gotcha.
He basically got crushed by a door, I think, and he's like not dead, I guess.
Aw, okay.
Yeah, he's like one of the named Insecticons from the 80s cartoon, but he doesn't have his character much. He fights Bulkhead. Bulkhead, beats the Insecticons, but just barely, and just as he's beaming back, Hardshell, crawls out of, a pit, and he snipes Bulkhead out. He, shoots at him, and it basically blows up Bulkhead's backside, and that's what cripples him, basically. This is what puts him on a coma. He's the first one who actually mortally wounds an Autobot.
Yeah.
And Megatron rewards him in next episode by giving the Insecticons a lot more benefits. He realizes they're not mindless drones. He does get one character moment where he and the Viacons are kind of being racist towards each other. They call the Insecticons mindless bugs.
Oh,
and
that's right.
the Insecticons are, we're honorable warriors, you fool. And they like get into a fight on the ship.
Okay.
Then they get a communication from Wheeljack, who's challenging Hardshell to a one-on-one fight in the name of avenging Bulkhead, revealing that he's alive. This pisses off Megatron, but Hardshell says, oh, let me redeem myself by taking this challenge on.
Yeah.
If I can't kill Bulkhead, I'll kill Wheeljack.
Okay.
And they get in their one-on-one fight, basically, and Hardshell's pretty tough, surprisingly. It's like, yeah, this guy was clearly set up to be more than just a mindless minion.
Yeah, well, I feel like he was fleshed out just for this little arc.
Yeah, and again, they have David K., who's a Transformers Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
David K. is awesome. Also like David K. in X-Men Evolution as Professor X and Apocalypse. That's right, he was in that.
Huh.
Yeah, he did a pretty good Patrick Stewart impression.
Okay.
And he was Apocalypse.
David K. to me was the best as Megatron in the past shows. Here as this character, he's okay.
Yeah, it's basically, he's just doing his Lugnut voice, because he voiced Lugnut from Transformers Animated.
Yeah.
It's the exact same voice, and pretty much the same personality, too.
Okay.
He basically dies when he's beating Wheeljack, and as I said, Miko shoots him out with a missile, and just blows him up, and the last we ever see of him is his corpse being shown before Megatron, that it was the work of a human, my lord, and Megatron realizes that the humans pose as a threat.
Okay.
So he fulfilled his purpose, and pretty much the highlight is it's David K. on Transformers again.
Okay.
So I actually might give him a B at least.
I can see that, yeah.
David K. is cool, and this is again just Lugnut on Transformers Prime.
Yeah.
Put him below Bumblebee at least.
Okay.
So yeah, pretty cool guest star character. He definitely left his mark, and he's pretty much the only memorable Insecticon. I know Wolf loved their horse whines,
Yeah.
that they always did. Yeah, they should have gotten Waspinator. But yeah, definitely okay. David K. pretty much saves this entire role.
Okay.
Alright, so now we get to the real Decepticons who matter, all the named ones. Let's do Breakdown.
Okay.
Who's their big, strong, tough guy. Breakdown, I also never really cared for, honestly. He's just... He's the big, strong guy. He's Bulkhead's rival. They had this rivalry in the war. They're both the strongest, trying to prove who's stronger. He's voiced by Adam Baldwin, who's from Firefly.
Okay.
And he was also on Mass Effect 2. He's one of the Quarians.
Okay. Ah, yes, one of them.
He's Cal Rieger, the red shirt looking one who befriends Shepard on Tali's recruitment mission.
Okay.
He's like the only Quarian you can potentially save if you make the right choice.
Okay.
David deserves nothing less than an A. Well, he's not playing a major character, okay, Emily? Here come the hearts. More faithful cross David K. and Frank Welker than the CGI series. They have John Bailey as Optimus in that series, than Megatron being the Beast Wars Megatron. He's a primitive type.
Primitive type.
Yeah, because he was in Beast Wars, yeah.
Okay.
So, Breakdown doesn't really have an arc. They set him up for something bigger later, but never follow through.
Okay.
Breakdown is basically the brute. He's the muscle of the cons. His only line I remember is when they're luring him into a trap. He's basically best friends with Knockout. There are fan theories that they're lovers because Knockout's coded gay. And I don't believe that.
No, that's just his character.
Yeah, he's got more of a hate boner for Bulkhead. I do. My favorite lines where Knockout's talking about him. We'll set him up in a trap. I lure Bumblebee and Bulkhead to you, and he has a breakdown. That's so stupid. Yeah.
I feel like I kind of remember that.
Yeah, he backs up the more important cons. Yeah. He's their strong guy. He gets some character when he's abducted by Mech, where basically he and Bulkhead have a fight. He gets tasered by them, and Mech can only enough energy to transport one. They take Breakdown because he was winning, and they study the Decepticon technology. This is where we get the horrors of Mech because they're, like, harvesting him and opening him up, and they gouge one of his eyes out.
Oh, jeez.
And this is where we see that the Transformers can actually die, and they are benefiting from their tech. I remember they rig his eye up, like, as a bomb to lure the Autobots.
Jeez.
Because they're, like, detecting his life signal.
Okay.
They almost kill him, and Bulkhead basically has to, like, swallow his pride and help his enemy out for a bigger good. It's like, yeah, they're afraid Bulkhead might jeopardize the mission because of his rivalry with Breakdown, but he has to stop him because Mech is the greater evil here.
Yeah.
And he saves him begrudgingly. They work together. They actually kill some of the Mech goons together in a big fight. Then Starscream shows up and says that Breakdown now must kill Bulkhead, and for a moment, he's a bit reluctant. He said, like, but Bulkhead helped me out. I was like, he was gonna let him loose or call it even for a time being, but no, Starscream shows up, orders him to kill him, but then Bulkhead gets his groove back and beats them all and chases them away.
Okay.
But at the end of the episode, Starscream reveals that he actually did this mission against Megatron's orders and saved Breakdown in secrecy because he wanted his loyalty for when he would betray Megatron.
Of course.
But spoiler alert, this goes nowhere. This goes, like, absolutely nowhere, and Breakdown's back to being a total dumb brute.
Okay.
His second and most important episode is when they're hunting another trinket, and Arcee and Bulkhead get magnetized.
Okay.
And basically, he and Arachnid are both kind of the villains, and they're both like evil versus evil, fighting over it themselves.
The rivalries.
It's all their rivalries coming into place, and his last major role is ironically when he dies.
Of course.
Basically, the second season they recruit Arachnid back, and Megatron realizes that Arachnid is a traitor too, and will eventually usurp Megatron and steal what they have. So he has Dreadwing and Breakdown lure Arachnid out in the forest to basically kill her while she doesn't know, like on a fake mission. But Arachnid sees right through this and basically turns the tables on them. She like aggravates Breakdown into attacking her, making her realize it's a trap. And they have a fight. She like beats up Dreadwing but catches him in a web, still alive. And while Breakdown chases her, he also, like, he gets tricked into being stuck in a web, and then she eviscerates him, basically. She kills him, and that's the last he's ever alive, and then he's a corpse for the rest of the series, which Mech finds.
Yeah.
Mech finds and uses his dead body to revive Silas. And then he becomes the vampire. Yeah, Breakdown's pretty much done as a character by that point. Like, he's more important as a husk. Wasted potential, sadly. Knockout isn't just coded gay. He started gay in the face. He stared gay in the face, and gay blinked. He is amazing.
I prefer this. I prefer...
Or of Cybertron Breakdown. He's one of the combiners in that game, so yeah. I don't know. I never really cared for him.
I just don't remember this character, really.
It's like, he was not that important. They set him up, but then never really used him. He was just the dumb muscle, basically. He was more important as a corpse. That was the problem. Yeah. Like, Silas actually made him interesting taking over his body. So, yeah. I might put him in a D, honestly. Yeah. I'll put him above Nemesis.
Yeah, but he just had a character.
Yeah, he was Bulkhead's rival, but because we also don't like Bulkhead, we didn't like his evil clone that much either. Yeah, he's okay. I need to use the restroom, so...
You're stuck with me, unfortunately. By the way, what Goosebumps episode do you plan for the finale? I don't think we have one planned. At least I don't. I don't know if Kat does. Get this ad out of the way. I mean, it probably did. Yeah, I did. What do you think of the Goosebumps trailer involving Stale the I I haven't seen that. I haven't heard anything about that. Hello, Emily. Have you heard of Gooflumps? No. Oh no, I don't even know if that's a real thing. If you're just making that up, given some of your other comments, just some guy.
All right.
Welcome back.
I'm back.
Yeah, the actual important one's back.
Hey, this is your channel, Wolf.
Uh-huh.
All right, since we did breakdown, let's do his partner, Knockout.
I love Knockout.
Knockout is funny. He's voiced by Stan Smith's dad, Jack.
Yeah.
That inmate in the shower wasn't gonna rape me.
I was gonna rape
him. Knockout is fabulous. He is the effeminate villain, kind of. He's basically the luxury sports car. He's the Decepticon medic.
Yeah.
He's the mad doctor. He gets recruited later by Starscream and basically serves as helping Megatron snap out of his coma, basically.
Yeah.
However, he's neglecting his duties and pretty much disrespects Starscream for half the series. He doesn't take him seriously.
Well, doesn't he also almost align with Starscream in the plan of like, well, we could just, say Megatron died and then it passes down
because
to
he gets
Starscream.
like a privilege,
Exactly,
basically. Yeah.
But then, of course, Megatron comes back and he immediately sucks back up to him.
Right. Yeah. Knockout and Starscream actually form this very funny, quirky villain friendship over the course of the series. Like, they go from hating each other to begrudgingly working together to being friends. They actually team up to betray Megatron at one point.
Yeah.
Then he goes back to sucking up to Megatron while Starscream's rogue. Then when Starscream comes back, he's like kissing Starscream's butt again.
Of course.
And they're like friends. The zombie episode definitely helped shine some light on that.
Yeah, they were a good duo on the buff this, yeah.
Buff this. Yeah, he's more concerned about his appearance.
I love that, yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely the effeminate one. He turns into a luxury sports car.
Right.
And he always gets scratched in every episode he's in and damaged, and that was a running gag. He's like buffing out all the damage he sustains, and one time he gets hit by a train and that skids him against the wall.
That's right, yes.
Definitely the episode that made me really like him is the racing episode where he's going into underground racing circuits.
That's right.
And challenging humans.
Off, yeah.
This is when he's like neglecting his duties as Megatron's medic, and Starscream hates him, and he gets to do a race. He abducts the idiot bully thinking Bumblebee's friends with him.
Right.
And he gets into a fight. Optimus comes in, saves the minute, and like rams him. And I love he just rips his door off. Like that's a part of his body, man. And saves the human.
Right.
Like Knockout he's also like a funny coward. Like as soon as everything gets tough, he folds and runs away. He's like more of a coward than Starscream is actually. But he's definitely the funny villain, and I really like him. I think he has a really cool voice too.
Oh yeah.
He has, like, the smug, arrogant voice.
Exactly. There's a charm to him in that voice. God.
I've seen human horror films at drive-in theaters.
Yeah.
He's, like, shooting the zombie cons.
Yes.
Like, aim for the head, and that doesn't work. And instead, they shoot them at the spark. Yeah, human horror films.
I love him. Because he's also, again, with that, he's the only Decepticon to really embrace the human culture.
Right, he actually likes it on Earth, and he very slowly, like, has, like, standards as the show goes on.
Okay.
Yeah, he grows morals. He actually turns good in the finale movie.
Really?
Yeah, you don't remember that?
I do not remember the finale movie that deeply.
Like, he kind of treats being a Decepticon more like a job than something he gets sadistic pleasure in.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of made him funnier. Like, he's basically against them and the funny con for most of it. Then, in the finale movie, he's like a POW, but then he helps the Autobots when Starscream tries to hijack the ship back and turns against him and decides he wants to stand with the Autobots because he hates Starscream now because he's a rude jerk.
Yeah.
And basically he helps them in the final fight against Unicron and his undead Predacons.
Okay.
He stands by them, and he's basically lined up with the Autobots at the end scene where Optimus sacrifices himself.
Aww.
And I suggest, like, basically he has a change of heart. He turns good.
Redemption, yeah.
Yeah, he was definitely got it because he's the least evil of them all.
Yeah.
He, like, the most horrible things he does was torturing Silas, who's worse than him, so yeah. Yeah, so where would you rank Knockout then?
Oh man, I've got to say S.
S? Not double S?
It's so hard because I feel like SS is just a category above, and
We'll put him
I'm
on
not
S.
fully certain if my feelings are that strong.
Knockout is definitely S. He's
such a good character.
He's
so
entertaining,
funny.
man. He's fun.
God.
Definitely made the side Decepticons more interesting than the main.
Yeah.
All right, so next we should do Dreadwing, played by the late Tony Todd. Dreadwing. This is Skyquake's brother. He comes in the second season.
Yeah.
He's not at all in the first season.
Yeah.
He finds out Skyquake died. He arrives on Earth and gets recruited by Megatron and is searching for his brother's killer.
Yeah.
He spends most of that, the Decepticons basically tell him it was Optimus because he was there.
Right.
But the Decepticons don't know that Starscream actually resurrected him and degraded his corpse. And basically, he's this cool samurai bot. He's also an explosives expert. He's good at, like, planning, like, C4 transformer bombs. He also fights with swords. He has a chain gun. He turns into, like, a Harrier jet.
Okay.
He scans, like, Agent Fowler's jet. And he, like, turns into this flyboy. He has, like, a code of honor, too. Because he and Optimus formed this worthy opponent kind of chemistry. Like, Optimus realizes he's not as evil as the other cons, and Dreadwing has a respect for Optimus. He doesn't view him as beneath him like all the other cons do. He sees Optimus as a challenging opponent. He's voiced by Tony Todd, who voiced the Fallen in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, and basically they gave him a better role in this show.
Yeah. I prefer this than Skyquake over Nitro Zeus any day from the last night.
Yeah. He gets this very slow kind of redemption arc. We find out he's like kind of more of a noble demon than anything. He's like, he treats being a Decepticon like a job. There's one episode where he and Optimus team up against Starscream because he gets the Apex armor. And he and Optimus get to know more about each other. They learn each other's style. They have a respect for each other. They save each other. They double team Starscream and sink him to the bottom of the ocean. And basically, they drop hints that Optimus wants to redeem him, and it actually affects Dreadwing. He actually does consider it at times. He spends most of his time being loyal to Megatron, and Megatron actually respects him because he's actually gets the job done.
Yeah.
And he's basically one of his few elite goons. However, then Starscream comes back into the picture.
Yep, he's welcome back to the fold, which upsets him.
Yeah, they look into, like, his memories with the cortical psychic patch, and basically Dreadwing enters when he reveals that, Starscream revived his brother to be his first pet Predacon project, and got him stranded in that portal.
Yeah.
And he realized that Starscream is at fault because he desecrated his brother's corpse.
Yep, so he goes through the entire ship just to kill Starscream.
Right. There is a moment where he does have a change of heart, and he basically gets back at the Decepticons by giving Optimus the Forge Hammer. Okay. Like, he gives Optimus the Forge Hammer, realizing that the Decepticons have no honor, and he wants Optimus to use it to save Cybertron. Okay. And Optimus pleads for him one last time. Will you consider joining the Autobots? And Dreadwing says no, his goals lie elsewhere. And that's where he goes to kill Starscream.
Okay, and then Megatron.
Megatron has to make the choice, either let Starscream die or let Dreadwing die, because he traps him in the medic facility. They're fighting. Yeah. And he shoots Dreadwing dead, a hole through his torso. And Dreadwing basically dies. Yeah. He chose that, and we don't have to pay Tony Todd anymore. Yeah. And Starscream sticks around.
Pretty much like Zuko with his Code of Honor. Yeah.
I like Dreadwing's Code of Honor. That was a really cool, unique element to his character compared to the other Decepticons. Also, big ups to Tony Todd. Yeah, Tony Todd did a good job.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He got more to do than he did as the Fallen, because the Fallen is a generic Doomsday villain.
Of course.
Do you remember Dreadwing that well?
I only really remember his death.
Where he gets shot through the hole.
Yes.
I thought he was pretty cool.
He sounds like a good character, yeah.
Yeah, basically he's the more honorable villain. Yeah, he does have standards. Yeah, he does have a reason to him. Kind of like Gavin from The Walking Dead, except badass. Okay. I would put him in A, honestly.
I could see that, yeah.
I put him on high above Fowler, of course. Okay. Yeah, Dreadwing was cool.
Really, not A+.
Well, you'd want to do A+? Yeah,
I feel like I put him in A+. Yeah.
I'll put him under Smokescreen, though, because Smokescreen had a more fulfilling arc. Okay. Dreadwing just died because they didn't want to pay Tony Todd more. He had one season. That was his thing. He died in the season 2 finale.
All right. Definitely A.
Just need some water.
Okay.
All right, let's do our last bruiser, the Predaking.
I don't remember anything about him.
This is the dragon, the one that shows up in the final season.
I kind of remember the dragon itself. I just don't remember.
Definitely
I
A. Well, we put him in A+ shadowing.
I feel like the final 2 seasons are where my memory is the most hazy.
Yeah, this villain shows up in the final season. Basically, this is after the Decepticons won. They made their tower, and Shockwave reveals he's alive, and he's been working on experiments. And we bring the Predaking, who's the first Predacon brought back to life with Cybertronian DNA, CNA is what they call it. And for at least half the season, he's like a dragon, a giant robot dragon that breathes fire, that is an ancient being from old Cybertron. They use him as their basically enforcer attack dog. They have him literally sniff out the Autobots when Wheeljack escapes.
Right.
This thing comes and it is like nigh unstoppable. Their guns don't have any effect on him. It could whack them like miles away. It's like super strong and durable. Then we find out like they basically had to beat it by tricking it through a portal.
Okay.
Where they send it to Antarctica, and it's like temporarily frozen out of the plot.
Man, they love going to Antarctica.
Yeah. Well, when you have the sets for it.
Yeah, I guess when you have the land bridge, you can go there and screw with everyone.
Yeah, the Predaking is frozen for a bit, but then global warming saves it, and it unfreezes and thaws out and returns. Yeah. And we slowly find out the Predaking is smart. It like shows like Velociraptor intelligence. It opens doors. It types on a computer. And by halfway in the season, when Starscream's like abusing it, the Predaking fights back and reveals he can transform. He's a Predacon, and they made him look kind of like Megatron did in the Beast Wars finale with his dragon Megatron form, I think.
Okay.
And yeah, it's supposed to be a throwback to the Beast Wars, kind of, because Predacons were the villains in that show.
Okay.
The Predaking reveals he's actually a sentient, intelligent transformer, and he wants the Decepticons to use their technology to bring more of his kind to life.
Right.
And Megatron realizes this thing is stronger than they thought, and he might overpower and betray them if he has more of these Predacons, basically. Right.
So they have to betray him.
So they betray him first, and Starscream plants the idea that maybe we should make it look like an accident and frame the Autobots for attacking the lab, so that way we kill the Predacons, and this thing dedicates his life to killing all Autobots. Yeah. And so that's where Ultra Magnus's arc came in, and they're fighting in the clone lab. They're like making the Predacons. We see Inferno and Waspinator in tubes.
Nice.
Only for them to die because they blow it up, and Predaking spends the season thinking that the Autobots are the killers. Okay. They successfully dupe him. They kill all the Predacons. He's now the last of his kind. Then they abduct Ratchet later because he has the intelligence to help them build the transmetal generator that will terraform planets. Okay. And Predaking like goes against Megatron's orders and tries to kill Ratchet, but then Ratchet reveals that we didn't kill your kind, only the Decepticons did. It's like they revealed that they had no idea the lab was there. Yeah. They were lured into a trap, and Predaking finally puts it together that Megatron betrayed him. He fights him, but then Megatron and Starscream double team him and knock him out the airlock, where we don't see him until the finale movie again.
Yeah. Where I think you get some more Predacons there.
Yeah, I love the little Easter egg from Beast Wars. And Dragon Megatron was definitely his best form in Beast Wars. Yeah, that's who he was designed to look like. This is his transformed form. It's Dragon Megatron from Beast Wars, basically. It's his quote-unquote final form from that show, and basically redesigned for Prime.
All right.
Yeah, the Predaking gets shoved out. I do love Bulkhead's line, we could have a Beast Wars on our hands. Because, reference, yeah.
Yeah. Too bad they kill off the other 2 Predacons in the sequel series by Starscream in a flashback, and a dragon equivalent of Caesar from the Planet of the Apes trilogy.
Yeah, in the finale movie, the Predaking actually undergoes a redemption arc. He's no longer a Decepticon now after their betrayal. Shockwave, like, made 2 more Predacons because we need to sell toys. That they don't have any character, which is why they're not even on this list.
Okay.
They're basically 2 new brutes that he uses as minions, and the Predaking basically recruits them by beating them into submission,
Yep.
telling them that he's their king and they have to rebuild their kind.
He's
and
the alpha, yeah.
he's convinced that they have to stop Unicron because Unicron is now making Predacon zombies with the Dark Energon, and they have to redeem their kind. And Predaking convinces them to help the Autobots, and they fight, and he redeems himself and becomes a good king.
Yep.
They fight, and after they beat Unicron, we get, like, a scene where they go back and they seemingly kill Starscream, but the spin-off show reveals that, no, he survived.
Dang.
They apparently, like, get revenge on him for the abuse they did in the season. So,
really thought it would actually lead into the Dinobots as well.
yeah, that's where you think they're going with it, because they're all, his Predacon are also Dinobots. Like, they turn into, like, a Triceratops and a Griffin.
Yeah.
But, yeah, where would you put the Predaking? You
I don't
barely
remember him, yeah.
Like, I honestly found he was a bit
Easy.
overrated. He was,
Really?
I thought he was cooler as a beast. His arc's a bit rushed, because that was the thing. The hub was canceling Transformers Prime, so a lot of his character development had to be rushed.
Yeah.
So I might put him on B or C.
I was thinking that too, yeah.
Yeah, I will put him on B. He's above Bumblebee, that's for
Okay.
sure. I'll put Predaking on B.
A tier, says Emily.
Emily loved him. Like, his character development is rushed.
Okay.
That's the problem, because Discovery Family screwed over the hub shows, so Prime and The Haunting Hour both had to cut their seasons short.
Yep.
That was kind of the problem. I wanted to love Predaking, and he has a fine arc, but he's not that profound a character. It is basically a love letter to the Beast Wars fan base.
Okay.
Alright, so now we're getting to the top cons.
Yep.
Oh, who to do next? Let's do Shockwave.
Okay.
Alright, so I love Shockwave. He is evil Mr. Spock.
Yeah.
He's the cold, calculating master scientist one. The one with no emotion. The one who's no nonsense. Who doesn't get any funny moments in the series. He is very creepy.
He's dead serious. I also do love his oversized weapon.
He's a freaking dragon A tier. Yeah, Shockwave basically takes over as the mad scientist. As
He's not really mad, though. He's just evil.
Evil scientist. He was like Megatron's favorite Decepticon.
Right, but
he's the
Megatron
extreme
thought he
lowest.
died.
Megatron thought he died. He shows up in Arcee's flashback, where
Yeah.
basically we set him up. Because Shockwave is one of the big name Decepticons. Like, he's up there with Megatron, Soundwave, and Starscream. He's, like, always remembered. He has that unique design. And he's been around since the 80s show. Blitzwing from the Bumblebee movie voices him. Oh, that's right. David Sobolov, I believe is his name. He was also in Beast Wars.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, he's another Transformers veteran actor coming back. They
Nice.
initially wanted to use him as a guest character, but people love Shockwave so much that they made him a main villain.
Yeah.
So Shockwave's in the flashback. He was Megatron's like inside agent watching over Cybertron because it's a callback to his 80s version.
Okay.
And he gets stranded in the portal during Arcee and Cliffjumper's escape. He's like wounded. Everyone thinks he's dead, and Starscream quickly writes him off as dead because he hates him. But turns out he survived. He escaped his portal prison and re-meets the Decepticons back on Cybertron during the Omega Lock's destruction.
Yeah.
He comes back, they recruit him, and he reveals he's ready to get back in the saddle and help Megatron by unveiling his Predacon, the Predaking Megatron. And basically he and Starscream get into like a pissing contest where they're both trying to win Megatron's favorite.
Yeah.
Because Megatron decides now that Shockwave's back, he's going to have co-commanders instead of just one commander. And basically, Starscream is his military commander, while Shockwave's scientific and tactics.
Yep.
And basically, Starscream's jealous and trying to one-up him.
Yeah.
Because he's always hated Shockwave since his debut episode. And Shockwave is pretty cool. We do see he's also not afraid to get his hands dirty, because during the raid on the temple, he steps in and he actually beats Arcee and Bulkhead, together. he transforms into a tank, basically. Yep. In the old show, he was a gun. Yeah, he turns into a tank.
I believe he voiced the Stingray from Beast Wars.
Yeah, I think that's him.
All right.
Yeah, and basically he's Megatron's more competent commander, and this is basically Mr. Spock as a Decepticon.
Yeah. He has a very cold voice as well.
Well, he does also say, I find your rationale to be logical.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's like saying Vulcan's things.
Yeah, he's definitely Spock-coded.
Yeah, this guy is basically making the Decepticons more dangerous plans in the final season, and he wins Megatron's favor. He actually has the intellect to back him up, and he's pretty badass, too.
Yeah.
I do have a bit of a soft spot for, of course, animated, because they got Corey Burton, who voiced him from the 80s show, to come back for that role.
That is insane.
And that's kind of why he got to do a lot more on animated, where basically he did become the full second-in-command after Starscream's betrayal.
Yeah.
And Corey Burton has the exact same voice he had in the 80s show, like 20 years later in the animated show.
That's insane.
And he got to do a lot more. On animated, he was like their inside man. He infiltrated Cybertron's government by pretending he was like, he was an Autobot. And Corey Burton does a really good voice. He's like this evil British guy. He sounds like Ra's al Ghul from the animated series.
Oh, interesting.
And yeah, I really like Corey Burton as a voice actor because, man, like 20 years later, he can still do the voice. And yeah, he was a good Shockwave. I found him a lot more threatening in that show. But he's pretty cool in Prime. He's like the chief. He is the elite. He is the master of Decepticon.
Yeah.
He is like one of Megatron's most loyal and dangerous minions.
Unlike in Dark
Oh, he was Depth Charge. Okay.
Transforms to his tank form in the series.
Talk about Dark of the Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, Shockwave was also introduced last season, but unlike Ultra Magnus, he got a lot more to do.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think that flashback also helped.
Yeah, and basically when Megatron dies, Shockwave and Starscream get away, and I love that they're stuck in the same escape pod together, and they're complaining. Can you move? Being stuck with you is no fun.
Yeah.
And they show up in the movie. They're basically remnants of the Decepticons trying to start things up. Shockwave made 2 new Predacons who don't get any character.
Of course not.
Basically, Unicron shows up possessing Megatron, and I guess they're Galvatron for the movie. He's like Megatron, like covered in rock armor.
Yeah.
Like they're sort of Galvatron in the finale movie, and he shows up and basically Shockwave like dies getting attacked by the Predacon zombies. Like he steals all his fossils by resurrecting them into zombie minions. Okay. And they rip Shockwave to shreds, but here's the thing. Later when the Predaking recruits the new guys, Shockwave shows up alive without a scratch somehow.
Weird.
And basically tells them that they have to stop a greater enemy, and like, it's weird. I think they forgot Shockwave was supposed to die.
Yeah, or unless it's like a weird spirit thing.
It's like, yeah, he shows up in this one extra scene, basically alive and well without a scratch after he was mauled by zombies, but yeah, and basically tells the Predaking that you have to stop a greater enemy, because Shockwave realizes that it's illogical to fight amongst themselves.
Yeah.
And that's his last scene ever in this show, and like it weirded me out. It's like, I think he was supposed to say that earlier, and
they swapped
scenes.
Yeah, it probably was just mistimed.
But yeah, yes, Galvatron, but unlike AOE, it's Unicron instead of humans. Okay. Yeah, so that's basically his last time scene.
Yeah.
I think he died, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, definitely.
Where would you want to rank Shockwave?
A+.
A+, okay.
Yeah, they do him perfectly.
He's great. Above Ratchet?
That's S.
Oh, sorry.
I said A+.
A+. Above? Maybe Smokescreen?
I think actually
above
the top,
Silas?
yeah.
Up top, A+.
I think top of A+,
yeah. Shockwave is awesome. He's a very cool character in everything he's in. Very, very great, scary Decepticon scientist. Loved him. Wish he was a bit more playable in Fall of Cybertron, but whatever. All right.
Okay.
So, let's go with Arachnid.
Yeah, we can get her out of the way. So, in this, she's the sort of rival to Arcee in the beginning because, you know, she killed her partner back on the war. And there's that trauma, that
Yeah.
rivalry lasts a long time.
She was the Decepticon torture master.
Yeah, she teams up with Mech in that episode. She then also, as you said, teams up with Dreadwing. No.
Starscream. She teams up with, like, Starscream once.
Yeah.
And, yeah, she basically... She's a rogue Decepticon for at least the half of the first season.
Yeah, until she comes back with her army of the Insecticons.
Yeah, she works for Megatron temporarily. She... basically one-ups Starscream and wins Megatron's favor, but then in the Unicron finale, she reveals that, she wants to take over, while Megatron is MIA because he's trying to banter with Unicron.
Yeah.
She tries to convince the Decepticons that she should be leader and they're going to abandon the Earth. Then Soundwave steps in and beats her tailgates.
Yep.
Starscream beats her into submission, then... when Megatron finally comes back, Soundwave reveals a recording that she was planning behind his back.
Right.
And this leads to where Breakdown and Dreadwing take her out to kill her in secrecy, but she turns the tables on them, catches on, and then kills Breakdown, then goes rogue again. She teamed up with Mech to get revenge against Arcee and Jack, only for that to fail because they were better and learned to work together as a team by that point.
Yep.
She spends most of second season being a rogue Decepticon. She uncovers an Insecticon hive, basically, and she finds out she has control over them because she's, like, part insect.
Yeah, she's the spider. More waifu material. Yes, she is definitely a waifu. She's the sort of femme fatale role.
Yeah, she's the evil one. She's very loosely based on a Beast Wars character called Black Arachnia.
Yeah.
She was also a Black Widow spider femme fatale character.
Wasn't there also Arachnid in animated?
Yeah, that was
so,
that was also Black Arachnia. Like, Cree Summer voiced her.
Gotcha.
She was also a femme fatale, kind of Optimus Prime's Catwoman.
Yeah, it's basically the black spider motif.
Yeah, she could transform into a vehicle and a spider.
Yep.
Yeah, she had two forms.
Yeah, well, she was just like a chopper.
Yeah, in Arachnid, she was a chopper in this show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, they brought her back in Transformers 1.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw it, she was a villainous in that, too.
This character gets a different arc in every series she's in. In Beast Wars, she starts as a villain, then switches sides. In animated, she's a tragic villain. Here, she's just a rogue villain. Yeah. A more better rogue than the lion from Beast movie with Idris Elba.
Yeah, Arachnid has loyalty to herself in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is kind of on her own, doing her own villain agenda. She reluctantly works with the cons when it proves beneficial to her.
Exactly, yeah.
And she's basically the evil Arcee.
Yeah.
She has a rivalry because Arcee was the first who escaped her clutches, and Arachnid has, like, this creepy taste for making her enemies into trophies.
She's a hunter, yeah.
Yeah, she's a predator, kind of. She wanted to add Arcee and Jack to her collection.
Yeah, she gets a sick thrill from the hunt.
Yeah, Arachnid's like a total sadist. She likes killing.
Great.
She's like it. She embraces her evil villainy.
And then she gets, like, put in the pod.
Yeah, when they're stopping, she, like, sends the Insecticon army to go fight and ambush Megatron's ship. They're, like, fighting Megatron at the same time Starscream's clones are attacking him. And, basically, the Autobots locate Arachnid. Arcee fights her and traps her in one of the cryopods an Insecticon was in.
Yeah.
And she's basically put on hiatus for half the season.
Yeah, until we get the zombie episode.
Yeah, then during the zombie one, like, when zombie Silas Breakdown is, like, searching for more energon to drain, he breaks open her pod. She fights him and kills him, but we find out in a twist she was bitten by him.
Yep.
And when she escapes, bringing the Insecticon army with her,
onto, like, the moon, I want to say.
She tries to kill Soundwave as revenge, and Soundwave portals them out, and they get stranded on a Cybertron moon.
Yep.
She and all her Insecticons are gone, and we find out she's a vampire con.
Yep, and so she's just sucking dry all her minions.
Yeah, lining them up to die, basically, and that's the last time we ever see her in the show.
Which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, again, they were supposed to have more, but Discovery Family canceled the show because they hate us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time on Discovery Family.
The only reason I know of Transformers is because of some boys from daycare.
Nice.
I liked Arachnid. Yeah, Emily likes her.
Too bad we're not going to see her again in the sequel series with how it ended. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, her plot thread got abruptly canceled, and that's kind of a weakness.
So much.
It sucks. They build her up. She was voiced by Gina Torres. You know her as Vixen from Justice League Unlimited.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she had a really sexy voice,
yeah,
I guess,
definitely.
that she was fitting for
Yeah.
it. And she was also in Firefly with Adam Baldwin.
Of course.
Yeah. She was pretty cool. I like her transformation. She also turns into a spider and a
Yeah,
chopper.
Yeah. Those spider legs are nice.
She's pretty cool. They brought her back in Transformers 1. She's
Yeah,
a corrupt politician in that movie, basically keeping the bots down. And
Alright.
she's kind of the big brother she has always watching in her web.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Where would you rank her then, Wolf?
I was thinking kind of A.
A?
A, yeah, solid A.
Solid A, yeah. It's because she gets abruptly stopped.
Exactly.
I'll put her above the humans, of course,
Okay.
yeah. Arachnid's definitely A. She's a cool villain, but
Yeah.
they just cut her short. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They clearly had more planned for her.
Yeah, they had
and
a lot of plans, I would
they had
assume.
a lot of plan, and Arachnid was definitely one that got left hanging.
Yeah.
Would have loved to see her as a vampire and Arcee finally kill her, but no, screw you, Discovery family.
Yeah, she just exists on the moon now until she starves.
Alright, now we're at the top cons.
Yep, and then also Unicron, I think, is the last
Yeah,
one.
Unicron.
Yeah.
Alright. Let's do Soundwave.
Okay. So-
Soundwave is definitely double S, I would argue.
Yeah, Soundwave is another RC kind of character where they are radically different from previous portrayals.
Yeah, Soundwave had the cool vocoder voice.
Right.
He has the same personality where he's loyal to Megatron.
Right.
He's his like #1 guy. Soundwave is their what is it, like communications kind of guy.
Yeah.
He's their espionage agent too.
Yeah.
He's basically a devoted Megatron follower, and in this show, apparently he and Megatron met when they were gladiators in the pit.
Interesting.
Yeah, he was like the only one who could fight Megatron to a stalemate, and that earned his respect.
Okay.
Soundwave truly believes in the Decepticon cause, but unlike his others, he doesn't get sadistic joy out of it. He's like doing this as a job.
I would say a job. He's doing it out of loyalty.
Yeah, it's his loyalty to Megatron. He is like, basically his key character trait is he's undyingly loyal to Megatron,
Exactly.
always doing what he says, always sticking by his side. And when
Yeah.
Megatron's knocked out for the first season, he's like the only one keeping him alive, basically,
Yeah,
arguing him.
and it takes Starscream and Knockout to try to... They do their damnedest to convince Soundwave that
oh, we can't
he's
save him.
unresponsive,
Just
yeah.
mercy kill him, and Soundwave's not buying it.
Right.
Soundwave, like, pretty much sees right through everyone's BS.
Yeah.
Like, he knows Starscream's a traitor and is keeping watch over him. He's the eyes and ears on the ship.
Right. He also, I don't think he speaks at all.
He does once.
Okay.
Like, remember, he's captured by the Autobots once, and they're trying to basically hack him to find the Decepticon's ship. And he says his famous
the
quote,
Soundwave superior Autobots.
inferior.
Yeah, someone just commented that.
"Yep, it's
Yeah.
better than Rob Zombie's Michael Myers attempt."
Definitely, yeah. Because for the rest, he's just like he just mimics everything. He just plays it back.
Yeah, they kind of made him kind of like Slenderman as a Decepticon.
Yeah, he's very terrifying.
He's
as
like
well.
tall, he has no face, and he has tentacles.
Right. He also doesn't really run. He's
walking, like strolling, like
yeah.
Michael Myers does. And he has like, his tentacles are like Doc Ock kind of tentacles, where he's like fighting them. He's not even using his hands, he's using the combat mechanics to fight.
I also like where he goes after the humans. And they're like, the humans are stuck in that small building with him.
And he's like, just sends one of his tentacles in and it grabs an axe and nearly kills them.
Yeah, they use him effectively throughout the entire series.
He's like, apparently he does have a face, but he has that screen over it.
Okay.
Yeah, I find out in a comic, they reveal it, but yeah.
Dumb.
Yeah,
him just having the screen's really cool.
Yeah, he has like this
cool design.
empty blank screen face, and he's always like playing back what he records and hears.
Yeah.
Which I found really cool.
Yeah.
Like, that was cool. He's like very threatening. He looks borderline demonic at times. And his favorite weapon is ironically not Soundwaves, but he could use the Space Bridge portal. Like, he uses this a lot to beam people out of his way. He uses it against Arachnid. He used it against the bots.
Yep.
He's basically
he's their
following
technician, yeah.
He doesn't have much of a character arc. He's just doing Megatron's whims.
Yeah.
We learn about him through other characters talking about him, basically.
Of course.
Because Soundwave's the strong, silent type. Like, they don't get him to talk, even though Frank Welker voiced him in everything else, so they don't get him to talk, even though he's Megatron. He, like, speaks in recordings. I remember he has his, like, threatening moments. Like, the other Autobots cannot beat him.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Wheeljack fought him one-on-one. He, like, scratches him, but that's it. And then he like, gets bested by him. Bulkhead gets bested by him. He's used a lot as their hacker because he has the power to. He's kind of tied to the computer.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He's like, he can do anything and transmit anything. I really wish they had all his mini-cons, because that would have given him more power. Basically, in the finale, when he's doing, like, the ship control, they try and ambush him, and they stop him by using, like, the Shadow Zone. They trap him in between the two portals, like Skyquake, and that is basically the only way they could defeat him. They couldn't stop him in a fight. They trap him in a Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
And that is the last time we ever see him until he's brought back in the terrible spin-off.
Yeah.
And Frank Welker finally came back to talk as him.
Honestly, I really love that Shadow Zone, even though it's only used like twice.
Like it's an iPhone face or tablet.
Yeah.
They love using Soundwave. I've seen memes of him all the time.
Yeah.
That was a great quote. I want to put him on double S.
I was thinking, SS or S.
Yeah, definitely behind Optimus.
Yeah.
Or Arcee. Yeah. Okay, Arcee is better because he has more character.
Right.
Yeah, Soundwave is cool. This is the best version of Soundwave I've seen since the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, he's cool. He is that effective minion.
Yep.
Alright, so, speaking of effective, let's do Starscream.
Ah, yes, by Steve Bloom.
It is Lord Starscream.
Yes.
Voiced by Steve Bloom, taking over after the great Tom Kenny.
Yeah, good voice, though.
Alright, everyone's favorite, Starscream. One of the most iconic villains of all animation, basically.
Yeah.
Starscream is that treacherous scumbag villain always plotting behind the real villain's back.
Yeah, he really is, like, the most Decepticon out of all of them.
Yeah, he captures it most greatly. Steve Bloom is having fun, definitely.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Starscream's also kind of prissy and effeminate in this version, which makes him kind of funnier. So, if you've lived under a rock or don't know Transformers ever, Starscream is Megatron's treacherous second-in-command. He's basically the one who wants to be the leader of the Decepticons. He wants to be on top. He has a huge ego. He's full of himself. And he's always conspiring against other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, Megatron is taken temporarily offline. He's in a coma for most of the first season, and
he also tries to kill him at one point while he's in the coma.
Yeah, and Starscream is using this to his advantage, basically. He's trying to pretend Megatron's dead, then basically abusing his authority, keep trying to get Megatron offline and unplugged.
Yeah.
Trying to convince the others that they should abandon him, and basically doing his villain schemes, taking orders, and convincing the cons that they need to listen to him now.
Yeah.
Then Megatron finally snaps out of his coma, then beats him up and reasserts his authority, basically.
Right. And Starscream sucks up to him again just to save his own hide.
Right, he's basically kissing his ass to stay alive at this point instead, but still conspiring against him. And this version of Megatron actually catches on quicker and does something about it. They go to, like, a cave, and it's where he, like, finds out Starscream's been hoarding Energon and stuff and tech for his own devices. He almost kills him, but then Starscream got lucky and apparently saved him from the cave-in.
Yeah.
Then he lets him back in, but then this is when Arachnid rejoins, and she's basically one-upping Starscream, and they go, like, Starscream had, like, that lost ship with technology that they needed to recover, and he and Arachnid are forced to work together to trust each other, but she betrays him first, leaves him stranded, and the Autobots capture him and interrogate him, and Starscream starts questioning his place.
Right. I really thought they were going to lean into him becoming an Autobot.
Right. You've hit rock bottom, Starscream. Yeah. Oh, Christ's sake. He had heels on.
Yeah, the heels.
His weird jet engine kind of formed those heels.
Remember when Starscream came back as a ghost?
That was in the 80s show, yeah. And I think Beast Wars did that too.
Probably.
But yeah, he gets held prisoner by the Autobots. He considers joining them because he gets no respect by the cons, and then he stupidly lets it slip that he killed Cliffjumper, and Arcee wants to avenge his killer. Then this leads to a fight. Like, she almost, like, guns him down on the spot, but then Starscream betrays her too and, like, stabs her and breaks loose. They have a fight. Arcee at least beats him down, but he ends up scurrying off, getting away, and we get rogue Starscream for all of Season 2. And this, I always find it interesting when Starscream goes rogue, because he, like, cooks up his own villain schemes. And,
and he also has no one to bounce off of.
Right. He's on his own, and he's more or less about getting back at Megatron than killing the Autobots. He's like, he finds out all these trinkets, too, and tries to hunt them for his own devices. He allies with Mech once to help them get a Transformer, but
then they get his
They betray him and get his T-Cog. Then he loses the ability to transform, which forces him to get craftier. And we see that Starscream is actually a very smart villain, because he's not out of the game, even though he can't fly now. We get a callback to the Starscream clones, because he gets, like, clones of himself, and apparently they do have the T-Cogs, and they can fly. He sends them to assassinate Megatron, because with, like, 6 of him, they can overpower him.
He's also the one that uses, I think, the Dark Energon the most.
Oh, they did. Starscream possessed Waspinator in a Beast Wars episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Air Commander Starscream. And, yeah, Beast Wars, okay. Yeah, he goes in with the clones, but all the clones epic fail. Like, they get killed, and Arachnids and Insecticons are attacking at the same time. Bulkhead actually kills one. One of the clones manages to get away, because it retreats and tries to betray Starscream, but Starscream, like, senses that, because they're tied to him. And Starscream kills him first, and harvests his clone's T-Cog. And
that's right, he had that stupid little moped.
I remember he went around
I just remembered that, because I remember him going through the Antarctic ice, he...
Oh, God, he holds on to the T-Cog for a bit, then he detects another weapon and goes on his stupid moped. This is where he crosses paths with Optimus and Dreadwing, and he gets his claws on the Apex armor first. He uses it, wears them himself, and he finally has the ability to fight back. Then he forces Optimus and Dreadwing to double team him. They fight him. He gets blown up and sunk underwater, but we see the armor still kept him alive, and he's walking on the ocean floor. He tries fighting them. He's kind of a thorn in both their sides for most of Season 2. Then he gets his claws on Red Energon, which gives you super speed.
That's right.
He, like, gets it, and he gets a chunk of it, at least, while fighting Smokescreen, and he loses the Apex armor to the Phase Shifter, because he kicks him out of it, but he gets it, he runs away with Red Energon, and at least has that to give him flash speed, basically. And he uses this to essentially dupe the Autobots. He, like, leaves his cloned corpse out as a trap to lure them out, and he uses the speed to break in the space bridge while it's open and all the Autobots are in slow-mo. And he steals all the keys for Cybertron's lock. And he escapes and runs out with them, but however, he makes a bargain with Megatron. Like, he wants his forgiveness and his life back, because he realizes how hard it is being alone. And
in turn, gives him the keys.
He keeps his life, he gives him the keys. So Megatron does it, and we get the Cortical Psychic Patch episode where they look into Starscream's mind to make sure, like, he's telling the truth. And see what he's been up to. And this is where Dreadwing finds out that what he did to his brother. So Megatron decides to keep it secret against Dreadwing, but they're gonna allow Starscream back as his second in command, and this leads to Dreadwings falling out with the Decepticons, and Starscream pretty much becomes Megatron's loyal suck-up for the rest of the series.
Well, it is the best place for him at that point.
They redid the clone thing with the animated series with multiple Starscreams, just without Slipstream involved. She was the girl clone.
Oh, I forgot about
that. They had his personality traits. One was an egomaniac, one was a coward, one was a girl, one was a liar, and one was a suck-up. They were basically the Seekers from the 80s show. And it was like a cute callback, but yeah, I really liked those clones. The clones had more character and animated, but yeah, there was a callback in Prime.
Wolf, something to tell you. I'm your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate.
What does that make us? Absolutely nothing. Okay, so in season 3, he's back to being Megatron's fanboy, basically sucking up, doing his bidding, but then Shockwave re-enters the picture and becomes his new favorite, and Starscream acts like a jealous girlfriend.
Yeah.
Trying to get Megatron to love him and make him like the sole second in command again, and he's basically abusing the Predacon, and this is where he comes up with his genius plan to do the synthetic energon Silas with Knockout, where they can win favor with Megatron if they're successful, and basically cause a zombie outbreak on the Decepticon ship. Oh, my battery's getting low.
Okay, it's of mine. But I'm just sucking up with it.
I got a charger.
Okay.
So, yeah, he screws up royally and basically causes more harm to the Decepticons.
Yep.
But then, like, Megatron beats him up for that again, and they fix the problem, and Starscream is pretty much back to being Megatron's butt kisser until the finale.
Yep.
Then he's, when Megatron dies, he goes off on his own in the finale movie. He's kind of a B-plot villain in the finale. He, like, tries to stage a coup on their warship with Knockout, but then Knockout betrays him because he decides to be good.
Yeah.
Starscream's locked up, and then at the end of the movie, they defeat Galvatron, and Starscream's ready to start the war again, but Galvatron decides no, he's done with that, apparently. And Galvatron basically dismantles the Decepticons and goes off on his own.
That's right.
And Starscream, like, runs off again as a coward, and he returns to the old Decepticon capital where the Predacons jump him and get even with his abuse.
Them.
Yeah. Apparently, the spinoff reveals he killed them and won.
Yep, because like in the sequel series, having his G1 colors.
Yeah, they gave him a new body in that show.
Of course.
And yeah, basically, Starscream is one of the most entertaining villains. Steve Blum definitely owned this role.
Yeah, definitely.
What would you rank him then, Wolf? Like, I know...
I think SS.
SS, really?
It's look. He's one of the most recognizable characters for a reason.
Right, above Soundwave.
Above Soundwave, yes.
Okay, but not above Arcee.
I would put him like basically paired with Arcee if I could.
Yeah, Starscream is one of the most iconic villains ever.
Exactly.
He's been around since the 80s, and I think it does a great job carrying on that spirit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, this whole show does.
He is great. So great that Steve Blum still voices Starscream in some projects to this day.
Yeah. Steve Blum's so great at voice acting menacing characters. Yes.
Yes. Steve Blum's got that deep voice.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah.
I loved him. I do have a soft spot for Tom Kenny Starscream still.
That's fair.
Like, he was good.
Yeah.
He was also funny. And he does a pretty good Chris Latta impression from the 80s show. But yeah, Starscream is double S rank. He is one of the most great cons ever.
Yep.
Alright, so who next?
I think we save Megatron for last, so we do Unicron.
Let's do Unicron, the Destroyer. The ultimate giant planet-sized transformer.
Well, yeah, because he's like built into the core of Earth.
Right, he gets his origin kind of retconned in this show. So Unicron was basically a transforming Death Star in the original 80s movie.
Right.
He's basically Cybertron's devil.
Yeah.
He's the evil transformer force. The blood of Unicron is dark energon. He's like a plot point for all these. They basically set him up in the first season because they keep finding dark energon on Earth conveniently.
Right.
And this has the ability to revive bots from the dead but makes them zombies.
Yep.
And we find out Unicron is not out there in space. He was like stranded and exiled after defeated by Primus.
Right.
We find out he became the Earth's core.
Yep.
This is the twist. Unicron is our planet's core.
Yep, so if he transforms, Earth is gone.
Right, he'll kill us all.
Yeah.
And all the debris from space apparently grew over him and we evolved off his corpse.
Yeah.
And yeah, Unicron is the Earth's core. We find out he's been revived from the dark energon experiments that have been going on. He's awakening and, becoming Transformer
He's
Satan
also,
again.
like, speaking through Megatron.
Right. Megatron, because he's, like, implanted it in himself, too.
Right. Well,
So
did he play? I thought Starscream put it in him.
No, Megatron like stabs it in him like an injection or something.
Okay.
Like shoves it into his spark,
Right.
and he's connected to Unicron. And Megatron wants to be like his disciple, but Unicron says, "Oh no, you suck because you haven't killed Optimus."
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, he completely spurns Megatron when
Yeah.
he revives. Like, I want to be your disciple. It's like, no, you can't even kill the last Prime, so I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
And we see Unicron's form through his rock formations. He, like, becomes like the Earth. He makes rock monsters of his toy self, basically. And
Yeah.
they all fight Optimus and the Autobots, and they grow bigger each passing one they kill.
Yep.
It's like, this thing won't stop, because he's literally the Earth.
Yeah.
And he's voiced by the Scarecrow from Arkham Knight.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he had a really cool voice, honestly.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. He had huge steps to fill because Orson Welles was the last Unicron.
Jeez.
Yeah. The best version and scary version of Unicron.
By far, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
There you go. He is the Earth all along.
I didn't know Unicron was an earthbender.
Yeah, he's the villain of the first season finale. He's like
Yep.
waking up, and the Autobots have to put him down before he transforms and kills everything.
Right.
This leads to Megatron teaming up with them for the first time ever because
Again, it's a higher threat.
higher threat. He's going to destroy us all, and when he's done with Earth, he'll most likely destroy Cybertron.
Yeah.
Because he wants revenge. Again, this is just Transformers Satan.
Right. Apparently, the actor's John Noble.
Yeah, that's his name. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He's like, of course, the Scarecrow. So yeah. Unicron is trying to reassert his power. He's slowly gaining it back, and basically they beam inside of himself, and they have to destroy him from the heart within his spark.
Yeah.
Optimus has to use the Matrix of Leadership because that's what they did in the movie to kill Unicron. And they work with Megatron, but Unicron's influence is like growing, and Megatron's being corrupted slowly, like he might betray him at any time. And they fight Unicron's antibodies, who are, of course, these robot demon-looking things.
Yep.
They're like flying because, Transformers hell.
Yeah.
I thought his body was pretty cool. You could hear, like, the earthquakes are his heartbeat.
Yeah.
And, like, these natural disasters are, like, him getting up.
Right.
They go in. Optimus successfully uses the Matrix to destroy Unicron's spark, but spoilers, he's not dead yet. Unicron, he loses his main body, basically.
Yeah.
And that's what leads to Optimus losing his memory and that whole arc. Unicron seemingly dies, but we find out, no, a part of him still lived this whole time in Megatron. Then, alright.
And then that leads us to the movie.
This leads us to the movie. After Megatron died in the finale, his death allows Unicron to take him over somehow because of the dark energon he stabbed into him, and he reforms into Galvatron.
Yep.
Because Transformers the movie. Then Unicron basically becomes Galvatron and is possessing him. Megatron is still alive in there. Their souls are like bound together.
Yeah.
And Megatron gets this weird rock-looking armor, and he looks like a Megatron-Unicron hybrid.
Yeah.
Again, that's kind of what Galvatron was supposed to be. And Galvatron finds out that Cybertron's been rebuilt. Then he somehow flies all the way there across the galaxy and wants to resurrect a new zombie army. This time, there are Predacons on the planet, and he's going to make zombie Predacons to help become his new people.
Yep.
And he's going to retake the planet Cybertron for himself and rule as Galvatron, and the Autobots and surviving Decepticons alike have to work together to stop him. I did think he was pretty cool. I thought it was great
definitely.
seeing Galvatron, definitely.
Yeah.
Basically, they stop him kind of the same way, but with a different method. Basically, like, he's owning them. He's a danger. He's, like, throwing explosive weapons. He and Megatron, like, combine their powers.
Nice.
He's got, like, these cool rock energy spheres.
Okay.
And he can actually control the zombies, which is something none of the others could do.
Right.
We see, like, Megatron's, like, in this void while Unicron's pulling the strings. Optimus eventually comes back, fights Galvatron in a one-on-one duel, and they stop him by using the Allspark as like this Ghostbuster trap canister to suck out Unicron's soul and trap it in the Allspark's place.
Okay.
And yeah, they suck him out of Galvatron's body, basically, and Unicron is now, like, trapped in a Hellraiser cube, kind of.
Nice.
And yeah, basically they defeat Unicron for good, and Galvatron, or former Megatron, is back in his body, but he becomes good now.
Yeah.
He decides he's done being a Decepticon because Unicron was his fake hero.
Yeah.
And that is pretty much the end of his arc. I definitely think he was a really great villain.
Oh, definitely.
Not too much character-wise, because he's treated as the endgame boss.
Yeah,
and
he's just a force of evil.
Right? I want to put him in S rank, just S rank, not double S rank.
I can see that. I was suggesting A plus.
Okay.
I can see him in S, though. Like,
I can
low
see him
S.
in S. Like, the guy playing him definitely does a good job.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I heard that Orson Welles forgot the name of the character he voiced in Transformers.
Well, yeah, it was just a role to him.
Yeah, I mean, it was his last role as well, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he was like dying at the time, and it was his final role. But man, what a role to end on!
Right.
Who knew Unicron would be one of his most famous characters?
Yeah.
All right, I gotta use
More
the
better
bathroom one last time.
Fallen. S tier, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the plot really did a good job setting him up, I have to say. I also do love the Dark Energon stuff for that being effectively the blood of him, which creates more evil in its way. Also, definitely just a good finale in general. At least season. Yeah, I guess. Well, I mean, I mostly meant the season finale, not the movie finale, because I remember the season finale better than the movie. But with that will only leave us with one more person, which I feel like we don't really have to go over the plot for, because Megatron was he's the main villain. Of course, he's going to be there for the entire plot. We don't need to summarize everything about it. But I'll wait for Kat. Also, hopefully this will end soon because my phone is at 8%.
Sorry.
That's fine.
I got my phone still here.
I know.
SS stuff from Megatron. Alright, Megatron. For the first time again played by Frank Welker, who definitely did it again. His Megatron voice is so much better here than in the 80s show. Megatron, as you know, is the leader of the Decepticons. He was a former gladiator turned political activist who hated the Cybertronian government. He rebelled against it, but basically his version of new government was fascism.
Yeah.
Then this led to a war between him and Optimus, and he became the ultimate enemy.
And yep, that's all we really need to talk about. I don't want to recount the plot again.
Yeah, you don't? Okay.
No, again and again and again and again. It's too much.
Well, this version of Megatron at least earned his power.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He is a badass and is scary in this show. I like that they made Megatron borderline demonic looking in this show.
Yeah.
He was definitely creepy. He doesn't accept an Earth vehicle mode. He turns into a Cybertron jet in this version because he's like proud of his heritage in this version.
Better than the gun transformations, though.
Yeah, Frank Welker is really cool in this version. He really owns this role and made Megatron definitely scary. They did for Megatron what G.I. Joe Renegades did for Cobra Commander.
Yeah.
Basically reinvent a over-the-top goofball into a creepy mastermind. This version of Megatron is, like, very cool. He and Optimus actually get their friendship kind of explored throughout the entire series.
Yeah.
We see, like, I do find it interesting. One thing I did want to talk about is when he loses his memory and becomes Orion Pax.
Yeah.
And basically, Megatron could have killed him, but then decides not to.
Yeah.
He instead takes him back and makes him a Decepticon and goes all this trouble to gaslight Optimus into being one of his friends again and wants to keep him alive. It's like, that's something you wouldn't expect from a Saturday morning cartoon
villain.
villain.
Expect him just to get the kill there. But I do love his line about why they're called the Decepticons.
All right. We wear it as a badge of honor. They used it to disgrace us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like...
Such a good line, even though it's all gaslight.
Yeah, we're Decepticons because they tried to brand us as evil, but we wear it with pride.
Right.
Yeah, as you know, Megatron is like the ultimate villain of this series. He's the boss. He asserts his dominance. He pretty much beats his renegade Decepticons into submission.
Yeah, especially with Starscream.
Especially Starscream. Sometimes Arachnid.
Yeah.
And everyone respects his authority. Even Soundwave actually respects him. And Soundwave's also a badass, which says a lot. Yeah. So, yeah. He doesn't undergo a lot of character development, but we find out, like, a bit more about him. He actually believes in his cause, and he can show respect to his fellow Decepticons.
Yeah.
Like, we see him angry all the time, but we see he actually treats Dreadwing and Soundwave and even Knockout with some respect.
Yeah.
I guess he does in the finale movie kind of reform.
Yeah, where he stops being the Decepticon.
Right, because Unicron basically holds his body hostage and puppets and tortures him.
Yeah.
And basically, like, he realizes what it's like to be oppressed and renounces the Decepticon ways.
Yeah.
Sort of. And I guess goes off in the universe in self-exile or something.
Yeah. He basically admits defeat.
Like, personally, I was kind of happy that he just died in the end.
Yeah.
It felt, like, more satisfying and definitely earned. It made a hell of a finale, too.
Yeah.
Where, like, Bumblebee finally takes him out, and he falls to the earth, a fallen warlord, basically. I wouldn't have mind if Unicron just possessed him as Galvatron full time, but...
Fair.
Yeah, Megatron is pretty cool in the show. I can see why some people wanted him to live, because he was the best villain of the show.
I will say this series and Beast Machines have the darkest and ruthless versions of Megatron.
Yeah, this was actually a smart Megatron, too.
Definitely.
He was a very crafty schemer and a chess master.
Which I feel like I would not expect from a gladiator.
Right, it's like, yeah, he's a total brute, too. It's like, he kept his muscle, but also had intellect.
Exactly, yeah.
I have a soft spot for a Corey Burton character. He was also Megatron in animated.
Okay.
And I really liked his voice in that one. He was also more of a cold, calculating Megatron.
Right. I actually like the plot in animated with him where he reveals him and the Decepticons first to get Earth on their side.
Ah, you do?
I do remember that plot point from animated. Yeah, that was real good.
I will say this series... Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay. So where would you rank Megatron, then?
Oh, man, I guess we gotta put him in F. He's just so bad.
Yeah, he's F, guys. F.
Nah.
All
you
right.
know where we gotta put him.
Double S.
Yep, right behind Optimus.
Yep, above Arcee.
Yes. Realistically, again, like with Starscream Arcee, I would put Optimus, Megatron side by side rather than one over the other.
Yeah,
they work as the pair.
This show didn't make him a household name, it reinforced him as a household name.
Yeah.
Yeah, Megatron is one of the greatest cartoon villains with Starscream, too.
Yeah,
he's like
fantastic.
Yeah, he's double S. He's up there with the likes of Cobra Commander, Mum-Ra.
Yep.
Like, all the Skeletor, I guess. All the legendary villains we remember from cartoons forever. And he's pretty much the face for evil on Transformers.
Yeah.
He's great, and Frank Welker definitely gave his best performance in this one.
Yeah.
He is awesome.
Alright.
So I guess we should wrap up. So here's our ranking tier if you can't see. We'll go bottom. It's Miko. She is the worst character ever.
Yep.
Nemesis Prime, Breakdown, both pretty lame duck villains, but they fulfilled their purpose.
Yeah.
Jack Darby's mom, June, she was okay. Laserbeak, he was just a drone. Ultra Magnus had potential, but was kind of a last-minute character. Bulkhead, we thought was alright. He didn't get much interest from us.
Right.
Hardshell, he's great because he's David K. Yeah, this is just Lugnut back on Transformers.
Yeah,
fun villain, but a one-shot. Then Bumblebee, who didn't get much character.
Right,
that was kind of the problem.
Of what the character he had is alright.
Yeah, don't worry, Wolf, he'll get a very mediocre spin-off.
Yeah.
The Predaking, who was also alright, but the same problem as Ultra Magnus, he was last minute.
Yeah.
Wheeljack, who had pretty good character, but he was also off-screen. He was recurring.
Yeah, he was underutilized.
The Scraplets, who were cute, adorable, evil, psycho animals, but that's all they were. Fun villains.
Fun critter.
Raphael, who was okay, definitely needed more focus to be higher, but he had his moments.
Yeah.
Agent Fowler, who was the fun, angry boss cliche. Ernie Hudson was definitely having fun, and he was a fun character, but he didn't steal the spotlight from the Transformers, of course. Then Arachnid, definitely an awesome villain. She is creepy, legendary, Arcee's greatest rival. The problem is she got the shaft in the end of the series.
Yep.
Cliffjumper, who is The Rock's best role. Best example of the character there to die.
Yep.
Dreadwing, honorable samurai warrior. He had a good character. He could have been great, but unfortunately they killed him off too early. Definitely one of the better cons. Smokescreen, the kid hero who grows up. He is pretty awesome too. I wish he became Optimus Prime. He had a very good character development, I will say that. Silas, one of the rare good human Transformers villains.
Yeah.
He had a pretty dark and edgy story, but it was great.
Yeah.
Shockwave, definitely the coolest scary minion you want on your side. He is the definition of an effective villain. He is awesome. David Sobolov definitely rocked just as much as Corey Burton did. Unicron the Destroyer, the awesome Transformers devil. He is the greatest endgame villain. I think they did him just as much justice as the Transformers movie did. Ratchet, the angry medic, right here. He is definitely fun, greatest character development, had the most persona out of all the Autobots. He is definitely a funny grandpa.
Yep.
Jack Darby, the best of the human characters, a bit of a cliched chosen one arc, but when he's basically Shia LaBeouf's character done right, that definitely earned him a few points, because you actually care about him.
Yeah.
Knockout, who's fabulous, definitely a funny villain. He is entertaining, and he has some of the best banter in the show, definitely.
Yeah.
Soundwave, that cool evil minion who gets stuff done. He is one of the scariest characters, but also super badass. This definitely is my favorite incarnation of Soundwave. Starscream, who's just as awesome. This is another peak Starscream. He is one of the greatest villains, and they definitely did justice carrying on his spirit for a new generation. Arcee, one of the coolest female characters ever. This definitely made Arcee one of my favorite Transformers of all time. Arcee is awesome in this show. She is one of the biggest reasons I kept watching. Love her, perfect waifu material. Megatron, we just went over, definitive villain. He is awesome. Frank Welker at his best. And number one is Optimus Prime, who is, again, one of Peter Cullen's legendary characters.
Yeah.
He is the best. Prime definitely showed a lot of love towards Optimus, and it is well earned. One thing I will say is good about the spin-offs is that he's alive again. And yeah, that's our Transformers Prime ranking. Here's our list. Any last minute comments? F for fantastic.
Yeah.
Life is a mystery. Making up for what they did to him in Dark of the Moon. And that's just Prime.
Yeah.
Alright. So, here's our list if you can't see. One last shot. We love Transformers Prime. It is a great show. It is awesome.
We grew up with, yeah.
We grew up with that and animated. And Prime to this day is still one of the greatest shows of Transformers history.
Yep.
And with that, we complete our ranking. I'm your host, Catastrophe.
And I'm Wolf.
And we'll see you all later.
Bye-bye.